Chapter 1248. With Zhang Yutong and Jin Wei leading the way, the surrounding disciples began to echo their sentiments. Although they were unwilling to offend Zhao Yufei, they couldn't help but feel a little indignant at the sight of their goddess holding the hand of an unfamiliar man. Moreover, Zhao Feng was only a periphery disciple. There was a vast difference in status between them and him. So he's just a periphery disciple. He truly doesn't understand the rules. Wei Qingying's sharp voice came from quasi-god Luo Yu's side. At the start, she had also found it rather strange that Zhao Feng had been promoted to inner disciple in such a short amount of time. As it turned out, he was just a periphery disciple. Get out of here! Jin Wei angrily glared at Zhao Feng and bellowed. He had lost the battle just now. Only by humiliating Zhao Feng a little would he be able to vent his anger. It's over! Nearby, Pan Hao recovered from his shock and sighed with his head lowered. He was the one who had brought Zhao Feng here. If this matter was exposed, he would not be able to escape responsibility. Moreover, Zhao Feng had offended the majority of the inner and core disciples present. Once they learned of this, they would definitely vent their anger on him, and all the inner disciples on his side would suffer a calamity. I was the one who had him come, Zhao Yufei suddenly said, and then she turned to Zhao Feng, her eyes brimming with tenderness. These words caused the crowd that had been threatening Zhao Feng to freeze in place. Yufei? Jin Wei was speechless. Zhao Yufei had no idea that Zhao Feng was here, so how could she have had Zhao Feng come? It was clear that Zhao Yufei was siding with Zhao Feng. Yufei, if you insist on standing up for him, there's nothing we can do. But isn't the person you value a little too spineless? Does she only know how to hide behind you and have you shield her from the wind and rain? At this moment, Zhang Yutong coldly mocked Zhao Feng. Given Zhao Yufei's status as a core disciple of the spirit race and the support of many elders, there was nothing they could do if Zhao Yufei insisted on siding with Zhao Feng. Therefore, Zhang Yutong started with Zhao Feng. A guy who lives off a woman. If you have the guts, come out and bear all of this. The surrounding disciples felt that Zhao Feng's actions were shameless. Brother Feng, ignore them. Zhao Yufei's jade-like hands clenched even tighter. Zhao Feng was only a periphery disciple of the spirit race and had no backing. If he were to take responsibility for this, he would definitely be severely punished. At that time, these inner and core disciples could easily kill Zhao Feng. However, at this moment, Zhao Feng took the initiative to step forward and looked at Zhang Yutong calmly. Apart from Kong Dai, who was snickering to the side, everyone else was shocked by Zhao Feng's actions. He actually took the initiative to step forward. There's no clear rule that outer disciples can't participate in this conference, right? Zhao Feng said calmly. The crowd nodded. There was indeed no clear rule. However, the invitation was only given to the core disciples and some inner disciples. That's right, but the invitation was not given to the outer disciples. Zhang Yutong did not know what Zhao Feng was planning, but he still said calmly. However, before he could finish his sentence, he stopped. He even wanted to swallow the words that he had just said. At this moment, everyone's eyes were focused on the invitation in Zhao Feng's hand. This kid actually has an invitation. Pan Hao's eyes widened. He felt that he had been worrying for nothing. How is this possible? He's a periphery disciple, how could he have an invitation? Damn it, who gave it to him? Many people cursed in their hearts. Those who had the qualifications to send out invitations were basically the core disciples with the most authority in this exchange meeting. How could Zhao Feng have known a core disciple before this? But no matter what, Zhao Feng had still taken out an invitation. He had the right to participate in this conference. Little Dai. Zhao Yufei excitedly glanced at Kong Dai, but she saw that Kong Dai had an expression that said, "You owe me a favor." Kong Dai's gaze fell once more on Zhao Feng, and her expression turned grim. In truth, she also did not believe that Zhao Feng was a good match for Zhao Yufei. This was because there were far too many people who were more outstanding than Zhao Feng among Zhao Yufei's pursuers. For example, Zhang Yutong, a rank 6 true god, had killed Zhao Feng without the slightest effort. Besides that, there were also many core experts who were in seclusion and could not participate in the conference, as well as the core disciples of other factions of the Xiling Zone. If she hadn't heard Zhao Yufei mention Zhao Feng so often and saw Zhao Yufei's worried and absent-minded appearance, Kong Dai would never have helped Zhao Feng by giving him an invitation. Gradually, the crowd began to retreat. "Shouldn't you also leave this place?" Zhao Feng coldly said as he stared straight at Jin Wei. Jin Wei's expression froze. Only now did he remember that he had made a bet with Zhao Feng. Whoever lost would leave the conference. He had never imagined that he would lose, so he hadn't cared about this matter. Jin Wei viciously glared at Zhao Feng as if he wanted to eat him alive. In the end, he angrily snorted and left. Although he had lost to Zhao Feng in the previous battle, he had far too many ways to get rid of Zhao Feng in the spiritual race. Just as Jin Wei was about to leave, a green-skinned man walked over. "Big brother Jin Wei, where are you going?" Zhao Lanyi asked in confusion. He had come late because he was in seclusion, but the conference probably hadn't ended yet. Jin Wei was in a terrible mood, so he had no time to pay attention to Zhao Lanyi. Thus, he didn't even glance at him and left. Zhao Lanyi awkwardly walked into the conference. Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng's figure was the first to enter Zhao Lanyi's eyes. Before he had come to the conference, his cousin, Zhao Hongyi, had told him everything and told him to teach Zhao Feng a harsh lesson. At this time, Zhao Feng was still on the stage, and Zhao Yufei was not far behind Zhao Feng. This was the perfect opportunity for him to force a fight and show off his strength. Thump. Zhao Lanyi's figure leaped and directly stepped onto the fighting ring. "Zhao Feng, you bullied my cousin. As his older cousin, I have to get back some justice for him." Zhao Lanyi looked at Zhao Feng, the corners of his lips curling up. He was an outstanding inner disciple, a rank 4 true god, even stronger than some core disciples. However, the surrounding crowd was silent, their expressions rather strange. Zhao Lanyi was an inner disciple, and yet he dared to provoke someone that Zhao Yufei valued. In their view, this was no different from seeking death. In addition, Zhao Feng's strength was not simple. But everyone present disliked Zhao Feng, and some of the core disciples were already thinking about how to deal with Zhao Feng. Thus, they all hoped that Zhao Lanyi and Zhao Feng would fight here and test out Zhao Feng's true strength. However, the inner disciples that stood on Zhao Lanyi's side would naturally tell him this news. "Zhao Lanyi, that kid is very strong, and he's related to Zhao Yufei." One of them transmitted his voice without batting an eyelid. "What?" Zhao Lanyi's fighting spirit was instantly extinguished. At this moment, he realized that Zhao Yufei was looking at him with a gaze filled with coldness. Zhao Lanyi was somewhat regretful. He should have come earlier, so he didn't know that Zhao Feng was related to Zhao Yufei. Even if he really could defeat Zhao Feng, he would still be offending Zhao Yufei. However, he was already riding a tiger, and it was hard to get off. He was the one who had challenged Zhao Feng just now, and Zhao Feng had yet to respond. Zhao Lanyi could only silently pray that Zhao Feng would refuse. "Brother Feng just fought once, so let me take his place." At this time, Zhao Yufei, who was behind them, suddenly stepped forward with a cold expression. "No, Sister Yufei, this might not be appropriate." Zhao Lanyi hurriedly said in surprise. Zhao Yufei was a core disciple, and her bloodline density and cultivation talent were both extraordinary. He would never dare to offend her. In addition, Zhao Yufei was a girl he had always admired, so Zhao Lanyi couldn't bring himself to attack her. "There's nothing inappropriate about it." Zhao Yufei's eyes flashed with cold light. "Bzz." In a flash, Zhao Yufei's skin became as translucent as crystal, and it exuded a dazzling violet light. The vast power of her bloodline caused the heaven-earth Yuan Qi to tremble. With a wave of her hand, a violet screen of light shot forward. Under the pressure of the spiritual race bloodline, Zhao Lanyi was restricted in every aspect. He couldn't dodge, so he could only defend. Bang! A layer of violet crystal exploded, and Zhao Lanyi's stiff body flew backward. Many parts of his body had crystallized, and even the blood trickling from the corner of his mouth had turned into red crystals. Zhao Yufei's usage of her bloodline has gotten even stronger. The rank 4 true god Zhao Lanyi was actually defeated by Zhao Yufei in a single exchange. The surrounding disciples were all stunned. The jealousy in quasi-god Luo Yu's eyes intensified. She was no longer a match for a single blow from Zhao Yufei. Turning her head, Zhao Yufei's cold and harsh expression instantly melted. Her soft and tender eyes gazed at Zhao Feng, and she once more took Zhao Feng's hand and left the conference. Yufei, your bloodline seems to be thicker than any other member of the spiritual race. Zhao Feng said in surprise. He hadn't expected that Zhao Yufei, who had come from the continent zone to the spiritual race, would still be so dazzling. How could I compare to you? It was rare for Zhao Yufei to reveal the bashfulness of a little girl. No matter when, Zhao Feng would always be an insurmountable mountain in her heart. Even now, Zhao Yufei was confident that Zhao Feng's strength far surpassed her imagination. As he watched Zhao Feng take the hand of the number one beauty of the spiritual race, Zhao Yufei, and leave, Pan Hao was filled with envy and jealousy. This kid, he really does know Zhao Yufei. Before the conference had even begun, Zhao Feng had crushed Jin Wei and Zhao Yufei had defeated Zhao Lanyi in a single move, and then the two left hand in hand. Many of the core disciples present had already lost their elegance. Only the inner clan disciples were happily currying favor with some of the core disciples. Big sister Luo Yu, although the conference has been disrupted, this might not be a bad thing for you. Next to quasi-god Luo Yu, Wei Qingying gave a crafty smile. That's right. The upper echelon of the spiritual race would never allow Zhao Yufei to be together with a piece of trash. But after some thought, quasi-god Luo Yu felt that Wei Qingying's words were extremely reasonable. Zhao Feng's desire to curry favor with Zhao Yufei had doomed him to a miserable fate, and Zhao Yufei had repeatedly angered the upper echelon of the spiritual race and the other core prodigies, which was exactly what quasi-god Luo Yu wanted. No one knew that while the conference was being held, the upper echelon of the spiritual race was secretly observing everything. This kid is the person that Zhao Yufei has always cared about? Why did he come to the spiritual race? But it seems like because of this kid's arrival, Zhao Yufei broke through a small bottleneck, and her bloodline energy has gotten even stronger. No matter what, we can't let this kid's inferior bloodline contaminate the bloodline of the spiritual race. Chapter 1249. After leaving the conference, Zhao Feng and Lu Yufei walked through the beautiful territory of the spiritual race's core. Everything here was made of various kinds of crystals, and there was even a high-quality god crystal vein underground. The thick heaven-earth yuan qi floated in the air like a thin mist, making it seem like a paradise. Zhao Yufei was like a cute and lively fairy. Her steps were light, and she could not conceal the joy in her heart. She knew just how big the ancient desolate realm of gods was. She originally thought that Zhao Feng would need at least 100 or 200 years to find the spiritual race. However, Zhao Feng had arrived at the spiritual race so quickly. Did this mean that she had a very high position in his heart? Zhao Yufei's heart was filled with joy. At the same time, Zhao Yufei was also very shocked. If Zhao Feng had been traveling all these years, how could his strength have increased so quickly? Brother Feng, even my spiritual race bloodline cannot keep up with your cultivation speed. Zhao Yufei said with a faint smile. Your spiritual race bloodline is indeed extraordinary, but don't forget about my left eye. Zhao Feng gave a faint smile. A large part of the reason he was able to have his current accomplishments and cultivation speed was because of his left eye. After that, the two of them chatted about their respective situations and experiences over the years. Before they knew it, Zhao Yufei had brought Zhao Feng to her private residence. This was a group of magnificent amethyst crystal palaces. Before they even walked in, Zhao Feng smelled a unique fragrance in the air. Brother Feng, can you stay with the spiritual race? Zhao Yufei looked at Zhao Feng with a gentle gaze. Every time the two of them met, they would not stay together for long, and every time they met, they would be separated. This time, they had been separated for more than 30 years. Zhao Yufei didn't know how long it would be before they were separated again. Moreover, from what Zhao Feng had said, she knew that Zhao Feng's fiancé had already reincarnated through another method. From her point of view, the current Lu Qinxin was no longer the Lu Qinxin who was engaged to Zhao Feng. Also, if Lu Qinxin didn't have a powerful background or talent, she might stay in the continent zone forever and never appear in front of Zhao Feng again. All right. Zhao Feng stared at Zhao Yufei's soul-stirring features, and emotions welled up in his heart like a tidal wave. Perhaps it was because he was too tired from all these years of killing, or perhaps it was because they had been apart for too long, or perhaps it was because Lu Qinin had cut off the past. This time, Zhao Feng's emotions were incomparably complicated. Looking at Zhao Yufei, he felt a burning impulse in his heart. Their gazes collided with each other affectionately, gradually blurring as they approached each other. Zhao Feng's arm unconsciously wrapped around Zhao Yufei's slender waist, causing her to let out a soft moan as her entire body turned a charming shade of red. At that instant, a voice echoed in the palace. "Yufei, come to me. Master has something to say to you." Zhao Yufei was startled and immediately broke free of Zhao Feng's arm, embarrassed and at a loss for what to do. Zhao Feng's eyes regained their clarity, and he awkwardly looked at the stunning beauty in front of him. "Master is looking for me," Zhao Yufei softly said. She knew that the upper echelon of the spiritual race had definitely seen what happened at the conference. Zhao Feng didn't have a powerful ancient bloodline, so the upper echelon of the spiritual race definitely wouldn't approve of Zhao Feng and wouldn't allow them to walk together. "Brother Feng, why don't you tell the spiritual race that you have a god eye?" Zhao Yufei softly said. Once the spiritual race learned that Zhao Feng had a god eye, they definitely wouldn't interfere with their relationship. They might even try to rope in Zhao Feng. One had to realize that the 8 great god eyes of the ancient desolate realm of gods were all supreme god eye deities. "I'm still too weak. Once news of my god eye spreads, I'm afraid." Zhao Feng slightly shook his head. It was only after coming to the ancient desolate realm of gods that he learned of the power of the 8 great god eyes. He had the 9th god eye, so his potential was probably on par with theirs. He wasn't very strong right now, but once he was exposed, those factions that had conflicts with Zhao Feng would do everything in their power to deal with him. In addition, he didn't know what sort of attitude the 8 great god eyes had toward his 9th god eye. Once Zhao Feng's god eye incurred the disgust of any of the god eyes, he would die without a grave. Zhao Yufei nodded. She naturally understood Zhao Feng's difficulties. Zhao Yufei went to her master's place while Zhao Feng swiftly left the territory of the core disciples. In a rather ordinary green crystal palace in the spiritual race's forbidden ground. "Yufei, he's here, right?" A white-robed elder with a calm aura slowly said. If Zhao Feng were here, he would definitely recognize this elder as the spiritual race expert who had descended to the continent zone to take away Zhao Yufei. Zhao Yufei nodded. Her master had known about her relationship with Zhao Feng from start to finish. "You also know of the spiritual race's current predicament. The conflict between the 2 major factions of the spiritual race is growing more intense by the day, and there's also the troublesome blazing gold race outside." The white-robed elder sorrowfully sighed. No faction was absolutely harmonious, and the spiritual race also had its fair share of internal conflicts. Outside, the other 5-star faction of the Xiling Zone, the blazing gold race, had always been eyeing the spiritual race. "Our faction needs to get stronger, and the spiritual race also needs to get stronger. The people above will not allow your noble bloodline to fall into the hands of a useless outsider." The white-robed elder continued. In truth, the higher-ups had long since made arrangements for Zhao Yufei's marriage. Either Zhao Yufei would be married to another core disciple of the spiritual race to alleviate the conflict between the 2 factions, or Zhao Yufei would be married to one of the other 2 5-star factions of the Xiling Zone, gaining the support of the other factions to intimidate the blazing gold race. And what right did Zhao Feng, a human with a low-class bloodline, have to be together with Zhao Yufei? Brother Feng will stay in the spiritual race. He's not an outsider. Zhao Yufei said, her eyes resolute. There are so many people pursuing you. Zhao Feng is no match for them. The white-robed elder added. Zhao Yufei instantly fell silent. She naturally knew this. That rank 6 true god Zhang Yutong was just one of her many pursuers. The other 5-star factions of the spiritual race also had extremely powerful pursuers. Even the geniuses of the previous generation who had reached the ancient god level were interested in her. If he had come with me to the spiritual race and enjoyed the cultivation resources and nurturing of a 5-star faction, he wouldn't have ended up like this. The white-robed elder sighed. When he took away Zhao Yufei, he had extended an invitation to Zhao Feng, but Zhao Feng had refused. If Zhao Feng had come to the spiritual race and cultivated for several decades, he might have matured considerably. Right at that moment, another figure slowly walked over. Senior brother Yuan Long. Zhao Yufei had a rather dejected expression as she greeted him. Junior sister Yufei, I don't know what you see in Zhao Feng, but I can tell you that in the Xiling Zone, there are many geniuses who surpass him in every aspect. Yuan Long's face was cold and indifferent. In his mind, those who were worthy of Zhao Yufei had to be far stronger than him, and their bloodlines could not be too low class. And Zhao Feng was only a quasi-god with around 1,000 ancient bloodlines. Among Zhao Yufei's pursuers, he was practically a commonplace existence. Yufei, think carefully. This is not just for you, but also for Zhao Feng. The white-robed elder's voice was tinged with sternness. The conference was still not over, and the core disciple territory was rather empty. Zhao Feng was able to leave without a hitch. Once I directly attain rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm, that will be enough to prove my talent and potential. Zhao Feng flatly said. One had to realize that even quasi-god Heaven Swallower of the heaven-devouring sacred land had only been able to attain rank 4 of the heavenly divine realm. Although so much time had passed that he might have a chance to break into a higher level of the heavenly divine realm, Zhao Feng's progress far surpassed that of the number 1 quasi-god genius of the heaven-devouring sacred land. But I still need to wait. Zhao Feng quickly left the inner disciple area and returned to his own residence. At present, Zhao Feng only had a 50% chance of attaining rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm. If he could increase this chance by a little more, wouldn't that be even better? Thus, Zhao Feng still needed time to stabilize his 5 elemental wind lightning technique and Golden Kuin's sacred lightning body to perfection. Upon returning to his residence, Zhao Feng continued to cultivate. Both of these techniques are just a little bit away from perfection. Zhao Feng's brow creased. He knew that his potential had already been squeezed to the limit. The later stages of these two techniques corresponded to the true god level. But Zhao Feng's cultivation was still suppressed at the quasi-god level. If he didn't break through, he would find it very difficult to make any progress with these two techniques. This was also a problem that troubled many quasi-gods in the ancient desolate realm of gods. Everyone knew that only by constantly accumulating strength and resources could one break into higher levels of the heavenly divine realm and increase one's potential in the future. But once one's potential reached its limit, if one's cultivation did not break through, their techniques would find it difficult to make any progress, and commanding them would waste time. Thus, the majority of people would give up and break into the true god level. 1 month quickly passed. Zhao Feng had cultivated in the space-time robe for 300 days, but his progress was still minuscule. One day, Pan Hao came to find him. Zhao Feng, you brat, you really do know Zhao Yufei? Pan Hao was the first to sigh in shock. He had never imagined that an ordinary periphery disciple like Zhao Feng would have such an affair with the goddess of the spiritual race, Zhao Yufei. Secondly, through Pan Hao, Zhao Feng learned of the situation in the outside world. By now, almost everyone in the spiritual race, including the worker disciples, knew that Zhao Yufei and Zhao Feng had gotten together. Brother Zhao, you have to be careful. Pan Hao began to worry. Although Zhao Feng's success in courting Zhao Yufei was shocking, it was not a good thing. This was the territory of the spiritual race. An outsider like Zhao Feng had come to the spiritual race to steal Zhao Yufei from the core disciples. In Pan Hao's view, this was certain death. In the territory of the spiritual race, it was far too easy for the core disciples to deal with Zhao Feng. If the upper echelons tacitly agreed, even if someone tried to kill Zhao Feng in the dark, no one would care. I know. Zhao Feng nodded. This was also why he had not revealed too much of his strength. As the two were talking, a roar came from outside the palace. Zhao Feng, I, Weizhe, challenge you to a duel. I will prove that you are not worthy of Zhao Yufei. This Weizhe is a core disciple. Although he doesn't have the spiritual race bloodline, he's still very close to the top. He's already reached the peak of rank 4. You absolutely cannot accept this challenge. Pan Hao immediately advised in shock. Wei Zhe's cultivation had already reached the peak of rank 4, making him different from the ordinary rank 4 true gods in the outside world. Moreover, he enjoyed the best cultivation resources, cultivated top-class techniques, and possessed high-level weapons. Zhao Feng, you soft-rice guy, do you dare to accept this challenge? Outside the door, there were still other people shouting. Chapter 1250. Peak Rank 4? Zhao Feng muttered. 25 years ago, he had been able to contend against a rank 5 true god. This meant that Zhao Feng had been able to defeat this so-called Wei Zhe back then. Perhaps I should show off my strength. Zhao Feng's mind sank as he began to think. The spiritual race was a 5-star faction and had many geniuses, many of whom had reached rank 6 true god. Some of the geniuses of the previous generation had even reached the ancient god realm. Even if Zhao Feng had defeated Jin Wei and displayed a certain amount of talent and potential, he was still not a member of the spiritual race, not enough for the spiritual race to attach any importance to him. If not for Zhao Yufei, the upper echelon of the spiritual race would have already dealt a ruthless blow to Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng suddenly stood up and prepared to leave. Pan Hao was taken aback by the sight of Zhao Feng standing up. They were purposely trying to provoke you. You're not planning to go out and fight, are you? Pan Hao immediately asked. Although he knew that Zhao Feng was incredible, he didn't believe that Zhao Feng could defeat Wei Zhe. After all, Zhao Feng was only a quasi-god. A cowardly turtle. Are you going to hide in there forever? I didn't think that the man that Zhao Yufei favors would be such a spineless coward. Outside the palace, all sorts of clamoring voices could be heard. At this moment, the crystal door in front of them suddenly opened. He dares to come out? In front of them was a black-armored man with curved black horns on his shoulders. His savage face exuded a bloodthirsty and evil aura. This person was none other than Wei Zhe. Most of the spectators were peripheral disciples, but there was no lack of inner and core disciples as well. That's him. He looks so weak. How could he possibly be a match for Big Brother Wei Zhe? Ever since the end of the conference, Zhao Feng had been in seclusion and had not come out. Thus, many disciples had never seen what Zhao Feng looked like. If you want to fight, then let's fight. Zhao Feng's expression was cold as he stared at Wei Zhe. Okay. Wei Zhe began to laugh wildly. In his view, after defeating Jin Wei, Zhao Feng had become so full of himself. Even though Jin Wei had the spirit race's bloodline, he had always lived like a prince. He had never experienced any hardship, so his combat ability was lacking. This kid actually accepted it. He's really courting death. There's going to be a good show. On the outer sect disciple area's challenge stage. I thought you would always hide behind a woman. Wei Zhe's smile was somewhat savage and cruel. Wei Zhe was also one of Zhao Yufei's pursuers. However, he had been out on a mission and hadn't participated in the exchange. However, upon his return, he received a piece of news that infuriated him beyond measure. Therefore, after asking around for some information, Wei Zhe went straight to Zhao Feng. Cut the crap. Zhao Feng's eyes turned cold as he activated his left eye, unleashing an astonishing eye intent. Wei Zhe, who had a relaxed expression, had a slight change in his expression. In his intelligence, there was no mention of Zhao Feng being an expert in ocular techniques. A golden-purple mist instantly engulfed Wei Zhe's soul. Wei Zhe's surroundings began to blur, and his control over his body began to weaken. This kid's mastery of ocular techniques is very high. Wei Zhe grunted as he circulated his soul intent to rapidly recover. At this moment, Wei Zhe sensed Zhao Feng's fierce attack from the side. He swiftly reacted and punched out with both fists. Boom! Bang! In this exchange, Zhao Feng and Wei Zhe were both forced back several dozen steps. This Wei Zhe has a firm will, and his fighting ability is also very strong. Zhao Feng nodded. He was skilled in the soul domain, and his god eye had a certain advantage, but his soul intent was still some distance away from the rank 4 true god level, so his soul eye bloodline techniques weren't very effective against Wei Zhe. On the other side, Wei Zhe's face froze in shock. He discovered that Zhao Feng's physical strength and physical body were actually on par with his own. This was because Wei Zhe cultivated a body-refining technique and had the advantage of his bloodline. Meanwhile, Zhao Feng was only a quasi-god, but he also had such a powerful physical body. The worried Pan Hao's eyes instantly widened in shock. He realized that he had greatly underestimated Zhao Feng. The spectating disciples also grimaced. No one had imagined that Zhao Feng would be able to hold his own against Wei Zhe. Wei Zhe coldly snorted as he circulated his divine power, and a cold and somber intent began to spread. He had underestimated Zhao Feng just now, but now he would not give Zhao Feng a chance. Rumble. On the other side, Zhao Feng's body transformed into a bolt of 5-colored lightning that exploded toward Wei Zhe. This astonishing speed caused the countless spectators below the stage to pale in shock. Wei Zhe was alarmed, and pitch-black divine power appeared on his claws as he prepared to grab Zhao Feng. Tribulation Lightning Eye Flame. At this moment, Zhao Feng's left eye flashed with countless bolts of white lightning. Powerful ripples of soul tribulation lightning energy surged out. Kakrek. A twisted tribulation lightning symbol burned like a flame, carrying with it a dreadful soul aura as it slammed into Wei Zhe's head. The intense pain instantly caused Wei Zhe to lose consciousness. He had always believed that the soul eye bloodline technique Zhao Feng had used at the start was the strongest of Zhao Feng's eye bloodline techniques, so he hadn't paid it much attention. But now, the eye bloodline technique Zhao Feng used with his left eye made him feel like his soul was being pierced by 10,000 bolts of lightning, and a heart-rending pain battered at his consciousness. Sky-destroying sacred lightning palm. Zhao Feng gathered a ball of 5-colored lightning in his palm, which he thrust at Wei Zhe's body. The enormous 5-colored lightning palm continued to push Wei Zhe's figure backward. The powerful 5 elemental profundities within the palm print constantly bombarded Wei Zhe's body. In addition, Zhao Feng's 5 elemental wind lightning technique had reached the final level. He had successfully merged the tribulation lightning energy into his divine power, further increasing the destructive power of his divine power. Bang! Wei Zhe's body slammed into the array formation around the stage. However, the power of the 5-colored lightning palm was not over yet, and it continued to press down on Wei Zhe's body. Ah! Wei Zhe screamed in pain, and his screams of pain caused the spectating disciples to tremble in fear. Thump! After a long time, Wei Zhe's body fell to the ground. The scene was dead silent, not a single sound could be heard. In the first clash, the two had been evenly matched. However, in the second clash, Zhao Feng had used an overwhelming advantage to defeat Wei Zhe. How can he be so strong? Some of the outer disciples swallowed mouthfuls of saliva and were shocked. He had just been outside Zhao Feng's palace, mocking Zhao Feng. So strong. He actually defeated Wei Zhe. Pan Hao called out in delight. Although he was also confused by the battle, the important thing was that Wei Zhe had been defeated by Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng jumped off the stage and left. He had intentionally used an eye bloodline technique to confuse Wei Zhe and make him lower his guard. Then, he used the tribulation lightning eye flame to heavily injure and swiftly defeat Wei Zhe. Several powerful divine senses were patrolling the skies of the spiritual race. He actually defeated Wei Zhe. This kid's strength is at least that of a rank 4 quasi-god. The strongest quasi-god prodigy of the spiritual race was only a rank 4 quasi-god. As for the quasi-god prodigy of the Xiling Zone's life's sacred land, quasi-god Guanlong, he already had the strength of a rank 4 quasi-god 30 years ago. Now that 30 years had passed, quasi-god Guanlong probably had the strength of a rank 5 quasi-god. He used an eye bloodline technique to launch a sneak attack, and Wei Zhe hasn't even activated his bloodline or taken out his divine weapon. If Wei Zhe had been prepared, the outcome might not have been certain. Another powerful divine sense coldly snorted. But this kid truly is very strong. He's able to contend against the strongest quasi-god of the spiritual race. A soul voice said in pleasant surprise. Ancient god floating spirit, you're Zhao Yufei's master. You can't favor her at a time like this? Several powerful divine senses were discussing in the sky. In short, this person's strength and potential are both decent. It would be best if he could stay in the spiritual race, but he's still an outsider with a low-level bloodline. Originally, they had planned to secretly deal with Zhao Feng. But the strength that Zhao Feng had displayed had piqued their interest. If they could get Zhao Feng to compromise and leave Zhao Yufei, then remain in the spiritual race and work for it, that would be the best result. On the outsider challenge stage, the news that Zhao Feng had defeated Wei Zhe rapidly spread. Wei Zhe actually lost to Zhao Feng? The man that Zhao Yufei has taken a fancy to actually possesses such strength? The majority of people were stunned by Zhao Feng's astonishing strength. But the core disciples of the spiritual race all had gloomy and furious expressions. Wei Zhe was a core disciple. His loss would be a disgrace to all the core disciples. That idiot. In a deep blue crystal palace, Zhang Yutong's face was ashen. Suddenly, Zhang Yutong's eyes turned as if he had thought of something, and he swiftly left the crystal palace. Meanwhile, upon learning that Zhao Feng had defeated Wei Zhe, Zhao Yufei was slightly moved, but she did not show much joy. Even if Zhao Feng had defeated Wei Zhe and his potential wasn't bad, in the eyes of the spiritual race, he was still an outsider. If Zhao Yufei could marry a powerful true god of the spiritual race, she could ease the conflict within the spiritual race. If she could marry a 5-star faction of the Xiling Zone, she could borrow their strength to intimidate the blazing gold race. And what could an outsider like Zhao Feng bring to the spiritual race? After defeating Wei Zhe, Zhao Feng went to the mission hall and received a simple mission. After completing the mission, he returned to his residence and continued his seclusion. But a few days later, someone began to call out from outside his palace. Core disciple Zhang Jue, I hereby issue you a challenge. The time and place are up to you. Zhao Feng scanned with his divine sense and discovered that Zhang Jue was actually a rank 5 true god. After throwing down a letter of challenge, he immediately left. Zhao Feng ignored him and continued his seclusion. However, it didn't take long for another conclave disciple to issue him a challenge, along with a letter of challenge. Moreover, this core disciple was also a rank 5 true god. Zhao Feng's expression darkened as he sensed that something was wrong. Over the next few days, several core disciples issued challenges and letters of challenge to Zhao Feng. One day, the core disciple Zhang Yutong personally came to the palace where Zhao Feng was secluding himself. Zhao Feng, I am Zhang Yutong. I issue a challenge to you. Zhang Yutong's lips curled into a sinister smile, his eyes shining with cold light. The nearby periphery disciples were instantly thrown into an uproar. Zhang Yutong was a rank 6 true god, and he also had the spiritual race bloodline in his body. Rank 6 true gods of ordinary factions were no match for him. Within his room, Zhao Feng ignored him. But Zhang Yutong threw down a letter of challenge and then left. Less than half a month later, there was already a pile of 10-some letters of challenge in front of Zhao Feng's door. The weakest among them was a rank 5 true god, and there was no lack of rank 6 true gods. There were even letters of challenge from outside the spiritual race faction. Chapter 1251. In the territory of the periphery disciples of the spirit race, there was a strange sight. In front of an ordinary palace, there was a tall stack of challenge letters. The weakest challenger here was a rank 5 true god, and there was no lack of rank 6 true gods. Some of these letters of challenge were even from outside the spirit race's territory. Inside the palace, Zhao Feng frowned slightly. There were so many letters of challenge even from rank 6 true gods. If Zhao Feng used all of his trump cards, he would have a chance to contend against a 6th-order expert, but it was impossible for him to win. Moreover, these rank 6 true gods were core disciples of the 5-star spiritual race. Their strength could not be underestimated. How could the man that Zhao Yufei likes only be a disciple from another clan? Outside the palace, another mocking voice sounded. Brother Liu, you might not know this, but this person wants to pursue Zhao Yufei, but he has no choice but to start from a servant disciple. Now that he has finally been promoted to a periphery disciple, someone at the side laughed. Hearing the voice, Zhao Feng knew that it was Jin Wei. Interesting. The man that Zhao Yufei has her eyes on, I would like to challenge him as well. The youth surnamed Lu laughed and threw down a letter of challenge. The surrounding servant disciples were incomparably shocked. Besides the spiritual race and the blazing gold race, the Xiling Zone also had two other five-star factions, Divine Tree Sea and the Heaven-Shaking Alliance. Almost all the people from these two forces cultivated the body-tempering Tao and medicine Tao. When a powerful body refiner possessed superb recovery and healing abilities, his advantage in body refinement would be displayed to the extreme. This youth surnamed Lu was a rank 6 true god from Divine Tree Sea. "Ha, brother Lu, let's go. There's nothing much to see in the periphery disciples' territory." Jin Wei let out an evil laugh. "Great, I'll go and persuade Yufei too." This young man surnamed Lu was also one of Zhao Yufei's suitors. A few days later, the famous, true god Bone Shattering of the Heaven-Shaking Alliance also arrived. He threw down a letter of challenge and then headed for the core area of the spirit race. "Brother Zhao, take care of yourself," Pan Hao sighed repeatedly. Now, he didn't even dare to enter Zhao Feng's palace. Everyone who challenged Zhao Feng far surpassed Pan Hao in terms of strength and influence. He was also afraid of getting into trouble. Just like that, every day or two, a challenge letter would appear outside Zhao Feng's palace. From the beginning to the end, Zhao Feng had never left this palace. In the core area, near a certain crystal lake, nearly 20 core disciples of the spirit race gathered together, drinking and chatting. "Ha, let's see what Zhao Feng will do this time." Jin Wei gulped down a cup of wine and laughed heartily. Previously, he had been humiliated by Zhao Feng. This time, he wanted to pay back double. Brother Zhang's idea is brilliant, and the upper echelons of the spirit tribe did not stop it. Another core disciple agreed. Zhang Yutong smiled and nodded. All of them were issuing letters of challenge as Zhao Yufei's pursuers. This kind of method was understandable and not too excessive. Moreover, it could also force Zhao Feng to submit. This was also what the upper echelons of the spirit race hoped for, so how could they stop it? In addition, they were issuing letters of challenge as pursuers. How could Zhao Feng refuse all of them? If Zhao Feng refused all these letters of challenge, his heart of the martial path would be hindered, and the prodigy of the spiritual race, Zhao Yufei, would also lose a lot of face. What right does this brat have to obtain Sister Yufei's favor? The youth surnamed Lu coldly snorted. There will be even more people issuing letters of challenge to Zhao Feng. If not for the fact that he's so young and is only a quasi-god, even my elder brother would have issued a letter of challenge. Jin Wei gave a smug smile. Even a rank 5 true god will find it hard to deal with that brat, let alone a rank 6 true god. If even ancient gods come out, it will seem like our spiritual race is bullying him, and it won't be good if word gets out. Zhang Yutong squinted his eyes and smiled. In a few days, more people from the life-sacred land will come. In Zhao Yufei's private residence, a crisp voice resounded. How could they treat Brother Feng like this? Zhao Yufei was furious. There's nothing that can be done. They're all your pursuers, so challenging Zhao Feng is perfectly justifiable. Kong Dai sighed. Ever since Zhao Feng defeated Wei Zhe, she had begun to feel that Zhao Feng wasn't bad. He had a dignified appearance and was powerful. Crucially, the two of them were interested in each other. Alas, Zhao Feng had no authority or backing, nor did he have a high-level bloodline. He couldn't compare to the core disciples, nor could he convince the upper echelon of the spiritual race. "I'm going to find Master." Zhao Yufei made up her mind and prepared to leave. At that instant, a pressure as heavy as a mountain descended upon them, causing Zhao Yufei to stop in her tracks. "Master!" Zhao Yufei was alarmed. "Yufei, the spiritual race has many upper echelon members. This matter is not something that I can decide alone." Ancient God Floating Spirit flatly said. In truth, he also believed that Zhao Feng wasn't bad. If Zhao Feng had taken a fancy to some other woman of the spiritual race, the upper echelon members of the spiritual race might have been able to accept it. But he had taken a fancy to Zhao Yufei. Zhao Yufei's spiritual race bloodline was far thicker than that of the other core disciples of the spiritual race. Coupled with her natural beauty, she was the goddess of the Xiling Zone. "I'm going to find Brother Feng." A clear mist swirled in Zhao Yufei's jewel-like eyes. It's best if you don't interfere in this matter unless you refuse him or try to persuade him to give up. Ancient God Floating Spirit sighed. He had come here to stop Zhao Yufei. This was the unanimous opinion of the upper echelon members of the spiritual race. Deep in the night, the territory of the spiritual race was still as dazzling as it was daytime. What a powerful divine sense! Zhao Feng, who was cultivating in the space-time robe, immediately leapt out. Periphery disciples were protected by the spiritual race. When they were in seclusion, some core disciples did not even dare to probe with their divine senses. But on this night, a powerful divine sense had suddenly swept over him. Zhao Feng had already guessed at the identity of this person. Swish! An elderly figure wearing a black robe suddenly appeared in Zhao Feng's palace. Senior. Zhao Feng stood up and bowed. Although this black-robed elder did not give Zhao Feng much pressure, he sensed that this person was several times more dangerous than ancient god Black Heaven. I'll just say it. The black-robed elder indifferently stared at Zhao Feng, a hint of arrogance on his face. Zhao Feng silently nodded. You're very strong, on par with the strongest quasi-god of my spiritual race, but your status and bloodline are both inferior. The black-robed elder's eyes were calm as he bluntly said, I know. Zhao Feng's expression was indifferent. The moment he saw the black-robed elder, he knew why he had come here. There are far too many young elites pursuing Zhao Yufei, and you have no power or backing. You are no match for any one of them. You cannot protect Zhao Yufei. The black-robed elder continued. Perhaps some of the people pursuing Zhao Yufei had less potential than Zhao Feng, but they all had powerful factions and high-level bloodlines. If you are willing to give up on Zhao Yufei, the spiritual race promises to raise you as a core disciple. If you take a fancy to any other woman of the spiritual race, we will not stop you. The elder continued. The spiritual race had tens of millions of disciples, but there were only a few core disciples. In addition, the elder's words were also hinting that even if Zhao Feng chose quasi-god Luoyu, who was slightly inferior to Zhao Yufei, the spiritual race would not interfere. Such generous conditions were enough to make countless youths of the Xiling zone go crazy, but Zhao Feng's gaze remained unchanged. If Yufei agrees, I have nothing to say. Zhao Feng's expression turned cold. He had not even creased his brow in the face of the many temptations offered by the upper echelon of the spiritual race. Moreover, since this elder had come to him, it meant that Zhao Yufei would not agree. He knew that Zhao Yufei was under no small amount of pressure. Since she had not agreed, why should he comply? I'm asking you. The black-robed elder's eyes instantly focused. A vast ancient god pressure began to spread out around Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng was stunned. This elder had only released a small amount of energy, but it was enough to make him feel like an enormous mountain was pressing down on him, rendering him immobile. It seemed like this ancient god was even stronger than he had imagined. Think about it carefully. Seeing that Zhao Feng was silent, the black-robed elder threw down these words before vanishing. In the clouds tens of thousands of li away, several enormous divine senses began to converse. That brat refused? Hey, that girl Yufei is also very stubborn. Let's see how that brat deals with those letters of challenge. The upper echelon of the spiritual race had unanimously approved of the letters of challenge. They believed that the core disciples of the spiritual race had done a good job. I'll go talk to him after a while. I'm confident that it won't be long before he collapses from all this pressure. The matter of the letters of challenge truly was a large stone weighing down on Zhao Feng's heart. If he refused all of them, refused all these people pursuing Zhao Yufei, would he have the right to be together with Zhao Yufei? It seems like I need to break through to the heavenly divine realm as quickly as possible. Zhao Feng muttered to himself. The spiritual race believed that he would only be able to reach rank 4 at most. However, Zhao Feng was confident that he could reach rank 5 at most. If he successfully broke into rank 5, even the spiritual race would have to take him seriously. Moreover, his strength would undergo a qualitative transformation, and his soul intent would rapidly increase. He might even be able to defeat a rank 6 true god of the spiritual race. His mind sank into the mysterious golden ball in the God-Eye dimension. Swish! Zhao Feng arrived in the ancient dream realm. After sitting cross-legged on the ground, he circulated the 5 elemental wind lightning technique and the golden Kuan's sacred lightning body. Boom! 3 tribulation lightning god crystals floated in front of him. Countless white tribulation lightning runes flowed out of them and engulfed Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng's surroundings had become a forbidden zone of tribulation lightning. Several days later, a white ancient beast shaped like a serpent dragon came to Zhao Feng's side, threw down an interspatial ring, and left. Not long after, Zhao Feng opened his eyes and sent his mind into the ring. Not bad. Even an ancient god would find it hard to resist these cultivation resources. A sharp light flashed through Zhao Feng's eyes. He had ordered Zhao Wan to gather these cultivation resources from all over the ancient dream realm so that he could use them to break through. Swish! Zhao Feng took out all the cultivation resources. The enormous ripples of energy caused the surrounding ancient beasts to tremble in fear. Without another word, Zhao Feng began to madly absorb the medicinal energy of these resources in order to break through to perfection in his 2 techniques. On a certain day, Zhao Feng's aura suddenly increased, and a world-shaking pressure of lightning and physical force swept through the area. The world trembled as the area for 100 li around him became a scorched pit. 5-colored tribulation lightning wreaked havoc within it. I've finally reached perfection in both techniques. Zhao Feng opened his bright eyes, his expression glowing. It's time to break into the heavenly divine realm. Zhao Feng stood up and began to search for a suitable place to break through. At the same time, many important points and techniques for breaking into the heavenly divine realm appeared in his mind. Chapter 1252. A few days later, Zhao Feng arrived at a black forest. The trees here were called black congealing wood, and their branches were like sharp steel spikes that made them abnormally savage. There was an entire low-grade divine crystal vein beneath the forest. Let's do it here. Zhao Feng went to the center of the forest and seated himself cross-legged on the ground. Swish! In the God-Eye dimension, Zhao Feng took out some of the ancient resources that he had successfully duplicated. Zhao Feng then absorbed another batch of ancient resources and began to duplicate them. Several days later, another ancient beast came to Zhao Feng's side, threw down an interspatial dimension, and then left. At the same time, the last batch of resources was duplicated in the God-Eye dimension. I'm 90% confident that I can reach rank 5 true god. Zhao Feng confidently said. The first step to becoming a true god is to form a divine stage. Zhao Feng's mind was completely immersed in the divine power vortex in his body. A gigantic 5-colored light disk with white crystalline lightning running through it slowly circulated in his body. A normal person's divine power vortex was just a whirlpool, but Zhao Feng's divine power vortex was a 5-colored disk of light. From this, one could see just how tough and condensed Zhao Feng's divine power vortex was, and the 5 elements tribulation lightning divine power it produced was also incredibly powerful. Buzz. BZZ. In the center of the divine power vortex, wisps of 5-colored lightning were extracted. Zhao Feng quickly drew out the outline of a large rectangular structure. There were 9 ranks of true god, and each rank had its own divine stage. As the lowest divine stage, it had to be sturdy enough, or else it would be impossible to support the divine stages below it, and one would never be able to reach rank 9 ancient god. The creation of a divine stage required extracting the energy of the divine power vortex as well as one's own strength and potential. Buzz. Within the Shen power whirlpool, waves of strange 5-colored lightning surged out and slowly filled the first divine pedestal with a special method of construction. I can't be careless with the first divine stage. Zhao Feng was completely focused on forming the divine stage. The first divine altar was of utmost importance. He had also infused some of his own life force and bloodline power into this divine altar. At the same time, one cultivation resource after another floated out of the storage space in front of Zhao Feng. Most of these precious materials were cultivation treasures of the 5 elements, and a portion of them were beneficial to the formation of a divine pedestal. The energy within these precious materials disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye, swiftly merging into the divine altar. the first divine altar, Zhao Feng spent a full month's time. During this time, he constantly circulated the god's spiritual eye to coordinate with the construction of the divine stage. He also carefully inspected every inch of the divine stage, minimizing the flaws of the divine stage. With the 5 elemental wind lightning technique and the golden Kuan's sacred lightning body perfected, my strength has increased far more than I imagined. I might have a 10% chance of becoming a rank 6 true god. Zhao Feng deduced this from the construction of the first divine altar. This thought caused his breathing to quicken slightly. He had never heard of someone who could directly attain the 6th rank of the heavenly divine realm. But now, Zhao Feng seemed to have a sliver of hope. In the outside world, every few days, someone would come to Zhao Feng's door and throw down a letter of challenge. He's already been in there for 2 months. It looks to me like he doesn't dare to come out anymore. He's planning on holing up in there and avoiding everything. Several periphery disciples saw that Zhao Feng hadn't appeared in the last 2 months, so they couldn't help but become bold and began to casually mock him. If he doesn't come out, he'll be expelled from the spiritual race in 10 months. An inner disciple who just happened to pass by coldly said. Periphery disciples had to complete a mission every month. However, some periphery disciples, because they were in seclusion or had other special matters to attend to, were unable to complete the mission. The race had also considered this point and delayed the mission for a year at most. If Zhao Feng didn't make any contributions to the race in 1 year, he would be expelled from the race. In truth, the majority of periphery disciples also entered seclusion for several years, but they would complete the mission ahead of time. But Zhao Feng didn't know this. Suddenly, the heaven-earth yuan qi around Zhao Feng's palace inexplicably began to thrum. With his palace as the center, an enormous and weak whirlpool formed, sucking in slivers of heaven-earth yuan qi. At the same time, the outline of a square appeared above this enormous whirlpool. This is forming a divine stage and breaking through to the heavenly divine realm. The inner disciple said in surprise, his nose twitching. He's breaking through to the heavenly divine realm? This news quickly spread, causing a large group of periphery disciples to gather around. It seems like Zhao Feng's been forced into a corner and has begun to break through to the heavenly divine realm. Haha, he was able to defeat Wei Zhe, so he can at most become a rank 4 true god. He still can't deal with these letters of challenge. Many periphery disciples began to discuss. Wait, why is the phenomenon of breaking through to the heavenly divine realm so weak? The inner disciple quickly left the area. Next to the crystal lake, Zhang Yutong received a message and gave a playful smile. What's wrong, Brother Zhang? The youth surnamed Lu from Divine Tree Ocean immediately asked. Zhao Feng is currently breaking through to the heavenly divine realm. A wicked smile appeared on Zhang Yutong's face. As soon as he said that, everyone was shocked at first, but then they burst out laughing. Does he think that he'll be our match after becoming a god? I think that he's been forced into a corner, so he's choosing to break through to the heavenly divine realm to increase his strength. Quite a few core disciples mocked and jeered, feeling rather smug in their hearts. Let's go. Since Zhao Feng has chosen to break through to the heavenly divine realm, that means that once he succeeds, he'll accept our challenges. Zhang Yutong suddenly stood up. Brother Zhang, you're overthinking things. I think that he's just borrowing the spiritual race's sacred ground to break through to the heavenly divine realm. Once he succeeds, he'll leave the spiritual race. Another core disciple agreed. After that, all the core disciples who had gathered here dispersed. In the periphery's territory, more and more people were gathering around Zhao Feng's palace. Zhao Feng's been forced into a corner, but even if he breaks through to the heavenly divine realm, he won't be able to escape his predicament. Zhao Lanyi and his brother stared coldly ahead of them. Get out of the way. So many core disciples are coming. Behind them, a voice rang out. The periphery and inner disciples gathered near Zhao Feng's palace immediately dispersed. Then, the group of core disciples came to the front of the palace. So, he's breaking through to the heavenly divine realm in another space. Zhang Yutong raised his eyebrows and said casually, the phenomenon of breaking through to the heavenly divine realm was extremely huge. Outside Zhao Feng's palace, There was only an indistinct yuan-qi vortex, and the divine altar phantom was extremely weak. This proved that Zhao Feng was hiding in another space to break through to the heavenly divine realm. However, this was also very normal. If Zhao Feng directly broke through to the heavenly divine realm in his residence, it would be too stupid. If his enemies disregarded everything and obstructed and plotted against him, his breakthrough would definitely fail and all his efforts would be for naught. Not far away, Pan Hao also arrived. What is he doing? Even if he succeeds in breaking through to the heavenly divine realm, he's no match for those challengers. Pan Hao was a little anxious. Buzz buzz. Around the palace, the yuan-qi vortex doubled in size, and the second divine altar phantom gradually formed. Rank 2 of the heavenly divine realm. Zhang Yutong softly said, Yufei Yufei. Zhao Feng is breaking through to the heavenly divine realm. Kong Dai flew to Zhao Yufei's residence and called out, Brother Feng is breaking through to the heavenly divine realm? Within the Violet Palace, Zhao Yufei's face froze for a moment, and then she became rather angry. In her view, Zhao Feng had definitely been forced by the spiritual race to break through to the heavenly divine realm at a time like this. What does this kid want to do? Near Zhao Yufei's palace, ancient god floating spirit muttered. His first thought was that if Zhao Feng was breaking through to the heavenly divine realm to increase his strength, then he was refusing to compromise and choosing to resist. But even if Zhao Feng reached rank 4 of the heavenly divine realm, he would still be no match for those challengers. Could it be that this kid is confident in reaching rank 5? A daring thought emerged in ancient god floating spirit's mind. He had also been present in Zhao Feng's battle with Wei Zhe. He had always felt that Zhao Feng was still hiding a lot of his strength and had not used his full strength. Master! At this moment, Zhao Yufei arrived at the entrance to the palace. She knew that her master had been nearby this entire time precisely to prevent her from seeing Zhao Feng. Go! Ancient god floating spirit flatly said. Zhao Yufei transformed into a violet streak of light and vanished into the horizon. At the same time, ancient god floating spirit's body suddenly vanished into the void. Within Zhao Feng's palace, the massive yuan-qi whirlpool was getting larger and larger, gradually condensing into a 5-colored whirlpool. The 2 divine stages above it also began to take on a hint of color. In a flash of violet light, Zhao Yufei appeared nearby. Brother Feng. Zhao Yufei had a rather worried expression. Soon, the heavens and earth changed colors as the clouds churned. Several otherworldly figures appeared in the depths of the sky. This kid has chosen to break through to the heavenly divine realm. Does that mean he's refusing to compromise? A black-robed ancient god coldly spoke. This was none other than the spiritual race ancient god who had gone to negotiate with Zhao Feng a while ago. No matter what, once he successfully breaks through, there will be a conclusion to this matter. Ancient god floating spirit indifferently said, but the dimension this boy entered is rather unusual. It's actually so compatible with the structure of the ancient desolate realm of gods. Another ancient god sighed in amazement. Buzz. Kaboom. The 5-colored yuan-qi whirlpool around Zhao Feng's palace once more expanded in size. At the same time, the image of a 3rd divine stage slowly appeared. It's already rank 3. It contains powerful 5 elements energy. What a sturdy divine stage. Ancient god floating spirit's eyes flashed. With his experience, he could see the situation of Zhao Feng's divine stages just by looking at these 3 divine stage images. In the ancient dream realm, the divine power vortex in Zhao Feng's body had already shrunk to half its original size. 3 divine stages were piled on top of the divine power vortex. These divine stages were crystalline and flowed with various colors of light. Profound and profound runes seemed to contain the great Tao of the world. Continue, the 4th one. The 3 divine stages in Zhao Feng's body suddenly exploded with 5-colored lightning as he attempted to form the outline of the 4th divine stage. But at this moment, his movements paused for a moment. Zhao Feng's attention was slightly diverted. This is? His expression suddenly shifted, because he discovered that the color of a few strands of his light golden hair that danced wildly in the wind had changed. Chapter 1253. These strands of hair seemed to have a life of their own as they wantonly danced in the air. These strands of hair were silver, but red, yellow, green, blue, black, and other colors occasionally flowed through them. The changes between each color were subtle and natural. Of course, Zhao Feng was in no mood to carefully observe these things. He only knew that he was at a crucial moment in forming his divine stages, and his god's spiritual eye was undergoing a transformation. What do I do? Zhao Feng was rather anxious. Based on his past experiences, the transformation of the god's spiritual eye would cause him to fall into a deep slumber. Moreover, the duration of this slumber was not fixed. He had already formed 3 divine stages, but if the god's spiritual eye underwent a transformation at the crucial moment and he fell into a deep slumber, what would he do? If he failed in forming his divine stages, he would return to his original form, and he would need an extremely long time to recover. However, the pressure of the spiritual race was pressing down on him. He needed to break into the heavenly divine realm as quickly as possible to resolve this threat. After a few moments of hesitation, Zhao Feng decided to continue breaking into the heavenly divine realm. Based on his past experiences, the change in hair color was only a sign that the god eye was about to transform. The exact moment of the transformation would take some time. I have to successfully break into the heavenly divine realm before the god eye transforms. Zhao Feng's eyes flashed with determination. Outside the palace, the enormous 5-colored vortex and divine stages suddenly slowed down in their absorption of Yuan Qi. This scene caused the nearby people to be shocked. Is it over? Only 3 divine stages? It seems like he's only SOSO. Although he can defeat a rank 4 true god, his potential is limited. Quite a few of the core disciples closest to him began to jeer. The vast majority of the core disciples of the spiritual race could condense 3 divine stages. No, it can't just be. In the distance, Zhao Yufei believed in Zhao Feng. 3 divine stages was not the end. At this moment, another illusory figure of a divine pedestal appeared above the huge palace. 4 divine stages. The crowd was thrown into an uproar. Defeating a rank 4 true god did not mean that one could condense 4 divine stages, but achieving this feat meant that one's talent and potential were superb. In the clouds, the ancient gods all grimaced. Although this kid doesn't have a high-grade bloodline, his talent and potential are quite good. The 4 divine stages are incomparably sturdy. Once they take form, they will be invincible in the 4th rank and can fight against the 5th rank. The ancient gods had sharp eyes and were able to make a judgment based on this blurry vision. At this moment, a few figures appeared not far away. Those are people from the life-sacred land. The nearby crowd that was paying attention to Zhao Feng's phenomenon was instantly attracted by the 3 young disciples. I didn't expect Brother Xiahou to grace us with your presence. The core disciples of the spirit race nearby immediately went forward to welcome them. The life-sacred land was the ruling faction of the Xiling Zone. Even the spiritual race was forced to lower its head before it. The leader of the 3 was dressed in a clean and simple light green robe. His body was straight and majestic, and his green eyes shone with a sparkling luster. What's going on? The muscular man looked at Zhao Feng's palace with a slightly bewildered expression. This person was none other than the rank 6 true god Xiahou Wu of the life-sacred land, the holder of the Eye of Life, and one of Zhao Yufei's pursuers. Brother Xiahou, you also know that the spiritual race has many disciples pursuing Zhao Yufei, but this brat just happened to obtain Zhao Yufei's heart, so we issued him a challenge. This brat isn't strong enough, so he's in a hurry to break into the heavenly divine realm. Zhang Yutong greeted him with a smile. Although he was also a rank 6 true god with the spiritual race bloodline, he was still no match for Xiahou Wu. In addition, the faction that Xiahou Wu belonged to was 1 level higher than the spiritual race. Brother Xiahou, you've also come to challenge him? A core disciple of the spiritual race asked. There's no need. Xiahou Wu coldly said, turning his gaze to the distance, to where Zhao Yufei was. In his view, even if Zhao Feng broke into the heavenly divine realm, he was still no match for these spiritual race members. There was no need for him to do anything. In addition, Zhao Feng was the man that Zhao Yufei had taken a liking to. If he publicly humiliated Zhao Feng, Zhao Yufei would definitely hold a grudge. It was better to have the spiritual race members drive away Zhao Feng while he went to comfort and curry favor with Zhao Yufei. How could a small fry like this be worth Brother Xiaoho's attention? Zhang Yutong continued to smile and flatter. In the sky, the ancient gods of the spiritual race were also examining the 3 members of the life's sacred land. Their bodies are all very strong, and they also have superb healing and recovery abilities. As long as they have a few soul-protecting divine artifacts, they'll be invincible among their peers. As expected of the geniuses of a sacred land, the core disciples of the spiritual race pale in comparison. Kaboom! The heaven-earth Yuan Qi in the vicinity of the spiritual race was madly absorbed by the 5-colored Yuan Qi whirlpool and transported into Zhao Feng's body in the ancient dream realm. At the same time, the low-quality god crystal vein beneath Zhao Feng was providing endless heaven-earth Yuan Qi and divine power for Zhao Feng to absorb. In addition, he had already used up all the treasures he had prepared to break into the heavenly divine realm. Half a month later, the 4th divine stage was finally formed. Now for the 5th divine stage. Zhao Feng was both excited and anxious. At this moment, a small portion of his light golden hair had turned silver. But as the silver hair danced in the wind, its color gradually changed, giving off a dreamy feeling. His left eye also began to show signs of fatigue. In the God Eye dimension, the mysterious golden ball was rapidly spinning, its color also changing. The golden ball was gradually approaching a silver color, but its surface was rippling with a multicolored dreamy luster. It was as if this small ball contained a dreamy liquid. When the outline of the 5th divine stage appeared, the outside world was thrown into an uproar. A 5th divine stage. This kid is truly daring. Once he starts forming his divine stage, he'll run out of energy, and all his previous efforts will be for naught. Quite a few disciples immediately began to laugh. But at the same time, they were somewhat envious. They envied that Zhao Feng had the courage to form a 5th divine stage, envied that he was able to form the embryonic form of the 5th divine stage. He doesn't know his own strength. Xiahou Wu coldly snorted. Only the best quasi-gods of a sacred land could attain rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm, such as the life sacred land's quasi-god Guanlong. This kid is probably going to fail. Every time he fails to break into the heavenly divine realm, he loses a certain amount of potential. He's crippled. Zhang Yutong chuckled. If he failed to break into the heavenly divine realm, Zhao Feng would no longer have the face to remain in the spiritual race. Up in the sky, the ancient gods who were observing the scene below also sighed. Originally, as long as Zhao Feng compromised, the spiritual race would have done all it could to raise him. It wouldn't have been a problem even if he took a fancy to quasi-god Luo Yu, but that's no longer possible. The black-robed ancient god coldly chuckled. I hope that he succeeds. Ancient god floating spirit mentally sighed. In his view, Zhao Feng was making a gamble. If he directly attained rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm, the spiritual race would definitely not stop him and Zhao Yufei. But if he failed, it would mean that Zhao Feng was not worthy of Zhao Yufei. An ancient god is approaching. The spiritual race ancient gods immediately warily looked into the distance. A violet cloud roiled over, connecting with the thick clouds that obscured the ancient gods of the spiritual race. Good sir, who are you? For what noble purpose have you come to my spiritual race? The black-robed ancient god had a dignified expression. He could tell that this was an ancient god of the Violet Knight race. The Violet Knight race was ranked 29th among the 10,000 ancient races, far inferior to the spiritual race. I am Ancient God Night Dragon of the Gulong Zone's Violet Night Hall. Ancient God Night Dragon indifferently messaged. To tell the truth, I came to the Xiling Zone in pursuit of a certain person. This person committed a heinous crime in the Gulong Zone and even imprisoned many geniuses of my Violet Night Hall. Ancient God Night Dragon's eyes gleamed with hatred as he looked down at Zhao Feng, who was in the middle of his breakthrough. The spiritual race ancient gods were taken aback. The Xiling zone was very far from the Gulong zone, so they truly didn't know what had happened in the Gulong zone. However, for Zhao Feng to be able to turn the Gulong zone into such a mess was truly extraordinary. If the spiritual race gives this boy to me, Violet Knight Hall will reward me handsomely. Ancient God Knight Dragon directly stated his request and reward. The spiritual race ancient gods immediately fell into thought. Although the Violet Knight race was inferior to the spiritual race, it was still a 5-star faction. Moreover, ancient God Knight Dragon was offering a generous reward, worth several hundred times more than Zhao Feng. However, if they handed over a spiritual race disciple like this, the other disciples would probably be bitterly disappointed and Zhao Yufei would be thoroughly disappointed in the spiritual race. I understand everyone's concerns, but after Zhao Feng breaks through, he will have to go out on a mission. The outside world is not very peaceful right now, and accidents are inevitable. Ancient God Knight Dragon gave a sinister smile. The spiritual race ancient gods naturally understood the meaning behind these words. As long as they agreed, ancient God Knight Dragon would secretly kill Zhao Feng so that they wouldn't have anything to do with this matter. The spiritual race ancient gods' gazes darkened as they began to converse with each other. Zhao Feng has always been a problem. Now that he's risked breaking into rank 5, there's a high chance that he will fail. It's better to use him and make a deal with ancient God Knight Dragon. This way we can get rid of Zhao Feng and also make Zhao Yufei give up. The black-robed ancient god's eyes flashed with cold light. That's not very good. Ancient god floating spirit protested. I feel that Zhao Yufei is a better match for the life-sacred lands Xiahou Wu. Zhao Feng is too impulsive. How could he break into rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm? Although the other ancient gods didn't directly give an answer, their tactful words indicated that they agreed with the black-robed ancient god's proposal. But at this moment, a commotion came from down below. The 5th divine stage is almost complete. Impossible? Zhao Feng has the ability to form 5 divine stages? Many disciples were shocked and doubtful. The 5th divine stage is almost complete. How could this be? Zhang Yutong was flabbergasted, and a crazed look appeared on his face. The image of the 5th divine stage was on the verge of forming in the palace. Directly attaining rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm was something that only a quasi-god prodigy of a sacred land could accomplish. Even the many spiritual race ancient gods in the sky found it hard to believe. In contrast, ancient God Knight Dragon had an extremely gloomy expression, the killing intent in his eyes almost tangible. He found Zhao Feng's potential terrifying. Once he matured, he could pose an enormous threat to Violet Knight Hall and needed to be killed. In the ancient dream realm, Zhao Feng's lips curled into a smile. The 5th divine stage is about to form, but I don't have enough energy left to form the 6th divine stage. Zhao Feng found this to be rather unfortunate. He placed all his attention on the divine stages as he slowly filled in the 5th divine stage. But at this moment, the mysterious ball in his God-eye dimension began to revolve at an astonishing speed. Gradually, a multicolored ball of dreamy light emerged from it. As this dreamy light seeped out of the ball, Zhao Feng's mind went into a daze in a burst of pain. Outside, the spiritual race. In Zhao Feng's palace, the massive 5-colored vortex and the incomplete 5th divine stage image suddenly vanished. Chapter 1254. Ancient Desolate Realm of Gods, Spiritual Race. The massive 5-colored whirlpool around Zhao Feng's palace and the image of the 5th divine stage that had yet to fully form suddenly vanished. This phenomenon caused the hearts of all the people gathered in the vicinity to tremble, and their eyes to open wide. What's going on? The phenomena of breaking into the heavenly divine realm suddenly vanished. The people who had been in a state of shock and madness were instantly dumbfounded. Zhao Feng had clearly been on the verge of forming his 5th divine stage, so why had the phenomena suddenly vanished? But everyone quickly understood that Zhao Feng had failed in his attempt to break into the heavenly divine realm. I knew it. This kid could never succeed. Directly attaining rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm is something only the strongest prodigies of a sacred land can do. He truly overestimates himself. The tense Zhang Yutong instantly breathed a sigh of relief. If Zhao Feng had directly attained rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm, he would be on the same level as the quasi-god prodigies of the sacred land. The upper echelon of the spiritual race would no longer interfere with his relationship with Zhao Yufei. But Zhao Feng had failed. Zhang Yutong gave a cold and sinister laugh. That's not right. If the forging of the divine altar failed, the divine altars should have collapsed one after another. But those 5 divine altar silhouettes disappeared very suddenly. Xiahou Wu's eyes darkened as he carefully examined the palace. Impossible. Brother Feng can't fail. In the distance, Zhao Yufei seemed to have lost her composure. Brother Zhao, what's wrong? Pan Hao was also extremely worried. The many ancient god experts in the sky were also dumbfounded. The phenomena have vanished. Did he fail? An ancient god slightly creased his brow. From the phenomena just now, he could tell that Zhao Feng had a high chance of successfully forming his 5th divine stage. But why did the phenomena of breaking into the heavenly divine realm suddenly vanish? Something's wrong. The world seems to still have that energy of the divine stages and the world. Ancient god floating spirit mentally muttered, but he wasn't too sure. That energy was simply too weak. In the ancient dream realm, Zhao Feng fainted in a burst of pain. However, this pain only lasted for a moment. His consciousness did not fall asleep and he quickly woke up. This is? The moment Zhao Feng regained consciousness, his heart was filled with shock. He discovered that his soul consciousness was no longer in his body. Instead, it had merged with the ancient dream realm. Everything within 1,000,000 miles was under his control. Furthermore, the scope of his control was still expanding. Not good, my main body, divine pedestal. Zhao Feng's consciousness immediately focused on the Black Forest. Now, his soul consciousness had fused with the ancient dream realm, and his body had become an ownerless object. Without the guidance of his will, all the power in his body would no longer be under his control, and the formation of his divine pedestal would also come to a halt. In the end, it would all be for naught. However, when Zhao Feng's consciousness focused on the Black Forest, his consciousness was immediately attracted by the hair on his body. This hair was bright silver, but it seemed to be flowing through the air, exuding a dreamy and multicolored luster. Zhao Feng's consciousness then focused on his left eye. The state of his left eye was exactly the same as his dreamy silver hair. Suddenly, the dreamy silver left eye began to exude a multicolored mist that engulfed his body. At this moment, with his body as the center, a huge vortex of Yuan Qi appeared once again. 5 white crystalline divine stages floated above it, flowing with multicolored light. The uppermost divine stage was still a sliver away from being complete. The divine stage actually hasn't collapsed. Zhao Feng was stunned. He was rather excited, but he was even more confused. But at this moment, a scene that left him flabbergasted appeared. The 5th divine stage in the air was actually filling up on its own and gradually becoming complete. How could this be? My soul consciousness has fused with the ancient dream realm. Without the control of my mind, why is this divine stage still forming? In his shock, Zhao Feng's consciousness delved into the cross-legged body on the ground. This is? Zhao Feng's expression froze in shock. In his dantian, above the 5 divine stages, there was a dreamy mist floating. At this moment, this mist was floating above the 5th divine stage, and the other energy in his body was being extracted by the dreamy mist and slowly fusing into the 5th divine stage. The power of the God Eye is helping me form my divine stage. After a while, Zhao Feng came to this conclusion. At the same time, he sensed that he was even more compatible with the world of the ancient dream realm. This feeling was like this world had always been his body. It seems like my God Eye is awakening, and my control over the ancient dream realm is constantly increasing. Zhao Feng was overjoyed. At this moment, he was the god of this world. Without another word, Zhao Feng gathered all the heaven-earth Yuan Qi in a radius of 1,000,000 li. At the same time, he moved another low-grade divine crystal mine several 100,000 kilometers away into the depths of the Black Forest. I wonder what will happen with the God Eyes mutation this time? At this moment, Zhao Feng finally put down his divine stage and thought of this question. Strangely enough, he had not fallen asleep during the God Eyes mutation. Instead, his soul consciousness had fused with the ancient dream realm. Thus, he could not see what was happening in the God Eye dimension. In the God Eye dimension, the mysterious golden ball was constantly spinning, unleashing dreamy mist. The golden ball itself had already transformed into a dreamy silver ball. Suddenly, a dazzling point of light appeared on the dreamy silver ball. A short line slowly extended from the point of light as if trying to form some sort of diagram. The connection point between the ancient dream realm and the ancient desolate realm of gods was Zhao Feng's left eye. His left eye was currently undergoing a transformation. The origin energy of the God Eye had cut off the worldly essence absorbed from the ancient desolate realm of gods. For this reason, there were no phenomena of breaking through to the heavenly divine realm in the ancient desolate realm of gods. He actually tried to break through to the fifth divine stage. How reckless! Now that he's failed, he doesn't even dare to show himself. The crowd that had been severely injured by Zhao Feng immediately began to jeer. This energy! Zhang Yutong's eyes flashed. Just a moment ago, he suddenly sensed a strange aura emerging from the heavens and earth. How could this be? This is the energy of breaking through to the heavenly divine realm, merging with the world and obtaining the acknowledgement of the ancient desolate realm of gods. Zhang Yutong's heart trembled. Hadn't he failed? Why was this energy still present? At the same time, some of the other core disciples, or those with powerful divine senses and keen senses, gradually noticed this as well. All of them had grim expressions, but none of them spoke. In the sky, the expressions of the ancient gods also changed slightly, revealing puzzled expressions. He doesn't seem to have failed. Ancient God Floating Spirit flatly said. Just what's going on here? The other ancient god was rather confused. On the side, ancient god Night Dragon's eyes twinkled with violet light. This kid clearly had a chance of reaching rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm, but what happened at the end that caused the phenomena to disappear, but that god energy acknowledged by the world didn't disappear? Ancient god Night Dragon thought for a few moments and then suddenly said, "Everyone, I will take my leave." Whoosh! Ancient god Night Dragon instantly vanished. If Zhao Feng had failed in his attempt at the heavenly divine realm and ancient god Night Dragon had killed him, the spiritual race wouldn't have said anything. But his intuition told him that Zhao Feng's attempt at the heavenly divine realm wasn't over yet. This meant that Zhao Feng had a high chance of attaining rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm. At that time, if he wanted to kill Zhao Feng, the spiritual race would definitely stop him. For this reason, ancient god Night Dragon chose to leave for now and observe from the shadows. Whether Zhao Feng succeeded or failed, he had to kill him. The spiritual race ancient gods paid no attention to ancient god Night Dragon's departure. They were now carefully observing Zhao Feng's palace, hoping to find something else. Brother Zhang? That kid failed in his attempt at the heavenly divine realm. What are we still doing here? Jin Wei asked in confusion, his face beaming. Oh, I know. Brother Zhang must be waiting for that kid to come out so that he can ruthlessly humiliate him. Jin Wei gave a cruel and evil smile. Shut up. Zhang Yutong coldly barked as he continued to stare at the palace. You! Jin Wei grimaced. He wanted to rage, but he managed to restrain himself. His background was stronger than Zhang Yutong's, but his talent and strength were far inferior to Zhang Yutong's. In addition, Jin Wei also realized that something was wrong. Zhao Feng had clearly failed in his attempt at the heavenly divine realm, so why hadn't the surrounding crowd left? Instead, they seemed to be in deep thought. At this moment, an even thicker god energy emerged from Zhao Feng's palace. Zhang Yutong's eyes focused and his expression darkened. He was now sure that Zhao Feng was still breaking through into the heavenly divine realm. As the energy of the divine stages merging with the world grew clearer, more and more people began to notice. In the ancient dream realm, the sixth divine stage, the entire place was filled with a burst of laughter. It was like the heavens were laughing. This strange phenomenon caused the nearby ancient beasts to tremble in fear. In the Black Forest, a 5-colored whirlpool of yuan qi madly spun, 6 divine stages erected above it. Even I wasn't confident in forming 6 divine stages, but now that my God Eye has changed and my soul intent has fused into the ancient dream realm, my God Eye has helped me form my 6th divine stage. All of this was truly unimaginable. The God's spiritual eye had once more provided him with enormous assistance. It had formed the 6th divine stage that not even Zhao Feng was confident in forming. Just this 6th divine stage is already an enormous pleasant surprise. I wonder what kind of changes my God's spiritual eye will undergo with the change in my left eye. Zhao Feng began to look forward to it. But suddenly, Zhao Feng's mind rumbled and his mind short-circuited. This time, even Zhao Feng's voice began to tremble. In the Black Forest, above the 6 divine stages, the silhouette of the 7th divine stage was slowly taking shape. The silhouette of the 7th divine stage was like an illusion, constantly flickering as if it could be destroyed at any moment. Chapter 1255. The 7th divine stage was the symbol of an ancient god. At this moment, the nearby heavens were constantly roiling and the earth rumbling and quaking. All of this seemed to be a sign of Zhao Feng's excitement. Can it succeed? Zhao Feng took in a deep breath. Besides anticipation, he was also filled with unease and worry. With his resources, attaining rank 6 of the heavenly divine realm was already his limit. Could the 7th divine stage be successfully constructed? Of course, he couldn't interfere even if he wanted to. The God Eye's transformation is still not over. Zhao Feng softly muttered. At this moment, his soul intent was fused with the world, allowing him to control everything within a radius of more than 10 million li, and this range was still expanding. In the ancient dream realm, when the 7th divine stage was beginning to take shape, in the spiritual race around Zhao Feng's palace, that God energy that was fused with the world was now so clear that everyone could sense it. He's still breaking through to the heavenly divine realm. It's still not over? Everyone's minds were in turmoil. This was truly absurd. Why aren't there any worldly phenomena? Zhang Yutong's eyes were extremely gloomy, and he had an ill foreboding. I just knew that Brother Feng wouldn't fail. In the distance, Zhao Yufei wept tears of joy. In the sky, the spiritual race ancient gods were all rather stunned. This kid is still breaking through to the heavenly divine realm, but there are no worldly phenomena? Does the dimension he's in have this kind of ability? The black-robed ancient god questioned. Even he was a little interested in Zhao Feng's mysterious dimension. I really want to see just what that kid's become in that other dimension. The other ancient god was extremely curious. Don't disappoint me. Ancient god floating spirit's expression slightly relaxed, and a faint smile appeared on his face. He still supported Zhao Yufei and Zhao Feng being together. After all, while the others could bring many benefits to the spiritual race, they could not bring enough happiness to Zhao Yufei. Several days later, in the ancient dream realm, under the mysterious power of the dreamy mist, the image of the 7th divine stage finally stabilized with extreme difficulty. The structure of the divine pedestal has barely been constructed. Zhao Feng heaved a sigh of relief, feeling a little lucky in his heart. Suddenly, a portion of the dreamy mist above the 7th divine altar entered the 7th divine altar. The dreamy fog that entered the divine altar distorted and turned into energy that filled the divine altar. The situation was exactly the same as the 5 divine altars below. That's right, the power of the God Eye is also one of my potential. Zhao Feng was shocked. What surprised him was that the divine stage formed from God Eye energy was essentially the same as the 5 divine stages below. It contained 5 elements: tribulation, lightning, divine power, bloodline energy, physical energy, and more. Time passed. The 7th divine altar gradually became more solid and flickered with dazzling divine light. 7 divine stages, ancient god. Zhao Feng's blood was pumping, and his current mood was indescribable. Attaining rank 6 in one step was already a legend, something that could not be verified. As for directly becoming an ancient god, that was even more unheard of. The five-colored Yuan Qi whirlpool around the Black Forest continued to expand and madly revolve. At the same time, the range that Zhao Feng's soul intent could reach increased. Zhao Feng's soul felt a wondrous sensation. The ancient dream realm was his body, and in a certain place, his heart was fiercely thumping. Kaboom! Right at this moment, a violent whistling sound was heard from the Black Forest. The 7 divine stages floated in the air, their bodies translucent and crystalline. Strange lights of various colors flowed over them, making them the most eye-catching existences in the world. Zhao Feng's mind was completely focused on the 7th divine stage. The 7th divine stage is formed, but compared to the previous 6, it's a little unstable. The higher one's divine stage was, the more difficult it was to form. Even the god's spiritual eye could barely form the 7th divine stage. Now, Zhao Feng would have to rely on himself to completely stabilize this divine stage and then continue to try to break through to higher levels. The Yuan Qi whirlpool and the divine stages gradually faded away. Zhao Feng's gaze landed on his own body. His hair and left eye were both glowing with a dazzling, dreamy silver. The mutation of my left eye is about to end. Zhao Feng sensed something. Buzz. Bzz. The dazzling and alluring left eye slowly began to revolve. The dreamy mist around his body slowly retreated into his left eye. At a certain moment, all the dreamy mist merged into his left eye, and the dreamy silver left eye also stopped revolving. Swish! Zhao Feng's soul intent entered his body. Countless pieces of information instantly assaulted his soul. 7 divine stages. Zhao Feng clenched his fists and felt like his body had turned into an ancient giant. The power within his body surged and swallowed the stars. This was the power of 7 divine stages? Swish! Suppressing the excitement in his heart, his mind sank into the dimension of his left eye. The mysterious golden ball had completely transformed into a small ball of dreamy silver. There were a few dazzling lines on the small ball that formed the outline of a simple eye. What's so special about this dreamy silver god's spiritual eye? Zhao Feng started to think, and his hair started to dance on its own, flashing with a series of other colors. Just when he was about to investigate the changes in the god's spiritual eye, Zhao Feng sensed something. True God lightning tribulation. Zhao Feng's expression changed. Because he had directly formed 7 divine stages and the god's spiritual eye had mutated, he had momentarily forgotten about the terrifying tribulation lightning. But it should be called the ancient god lightning tribulation now. Zhao Feng chuckled. Zhao Feng circulated a wisp of divine power from his divine stages. Just the divine power contained within was countless times stronger than his 5 elements tribulation lightning divine power. Swish! After fusing with so many ultimates, the power of this divine power multiplied again. Let me experience the ancient god lightning tribulation. Zhao Feng raised his head to the sky and roared. Broom! In just a few moments, the world turned dark. Black clouds surged and lightning crackled. That terrifying suppressive aura caused all living beings within tens of thousands of miles to tremble in fear and flee to the periphery. Boom! 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 The lightning in the black clouds became denser and denser. It was like ancient lightning dragons that roared and roared, shaking the world. What a powerful tribulation lightning power! Zhao Feng's heart shook. If this was a normal true god lightning tribulation, he just needed to close his eyes and do nothing to successfully pass it. However, this tribulation lightning was too shocking. Even though he was a quasi-ancient god, he still needed to use all his strength. As long as he passed the god tribulation, he would become a true ancient god. Broom! An enormous lightning dragon suddenly appeared and descended. Countless tiny arcs of lightning spread from the dragon's head, as if it was spitting out a mist of lightning. Sacred tribulation lightning body. Layers of 5-colored lightning flowed over Zhao Feng's body. He was like a 5-colored ball of lightning, dazzling and brimming with power. Boom! Bang! An enormous bolt of lightning shot toward Zhao Feng. Just this bolt of tribulation lightning could heavily injure a rank 6 true god and instantly kill a rank 5 true god. Fortunately, Zhao Feng had the sacred tribulation lightning body and the lightning soul body, so he was absolutely confident in dealing with this tribulation lightning. In addition, Zhao Feng had chosen this forest in the hopes that it could counter lightning, but at this moment, the ground around him shattered and turned to dust. His body floated in the air, unmoving like a mountain of lightning. At this moment, Zhao Feng's body was absorbing the tribulation lightning energy. His soul was also absorbing the tribulation lightning energy. What a powerful tempering effect! Zhao Feng discovered that after enduring this lightning strike, both his body and soul had been tempered. This tempering effect was several dozen times better than when he used the tribulation lightning in the lightning god crystal. Because he had become an ancient god in one step, Zhao Feng's cultivation was extremely unstable. He had yet to reach the standard of an ancient god in any aspect. But this tribulation lightning could help him consolidate and temper all these aspects. On the other hand, the low-quality god crystal mine deep underground had already been drained of energy. But now, with Zhao Feng as the medium, the tribulation lightning energy was pouring into the low-quality god crystal mine. Before breaking through to the heavenly divine realm, he had thought of everything. This tribulation lightning had to be put to good use and stored away. Boom! The world quaked and lightning crackled. The second bolt of tribulation lightning instantly descended, its power even more terrifying than the first. Everything around Zhao Feng was turned to ash. Then came the third, the fourth, and the power gradually increased. Zhao Feng's body was in tatters, his entire body scorched black. Fortunately, he had an indestructible constitution and incredible recovery abilities, allowing him to just barely resist the damage to his body. Swish! Zhao Feng put on the space-time robe. The space-time robe was a supreme quality divine artifact, so it would not be destroyed by the tribulation lightning. In addition, its defensive abilities could reduce the explosive power of the tribulation lightning. After putting on the space-time robe and circulating all his divine power, Zhao Feng once more clashed with the ancient lightning dragon. Half a day later, the rumbling gradually died down, the black clouds in the sky dispersed, and the sky became clear once more. Down below, in a massive black pit, was a charred body that was inch by inch covered in black smoke. 10 days later, Zhao Feng's injuries were slowly healing. After the baptism of the tribulation lightning and the reconstitution of his body, his cultivation had become even more stable. Rank 7 Ancient God. Zhao Feng stood in place, his heart wild with joy and excitement. After a long while he finally calmed down. As the saying went, the tallest tree in the forest was the first to be blown down by the wind. Directly becoming a rank 5 true god was already enough to make one famous throughout the Xiling zone. Rank 6 true god was a miracle, but rank 7 ancient god was far too astonishing. If word of this got out, a disaster might befall him. Zhao Feng's aura slowly weakened until it became extremely normal. At the same time, Zhao Feng took out several god sealing stones and circulated a sliver of sealing intent, using some of the god sealing stone's power to suppress the divine stages in his dantian. Gradually, Zhao Feng's aura became even more concealed. In the spiritual race, the crowd around Zhao Feng's palace did not disperse. On the contrary, more and more people gathered. He still hasn't come out? Just what's going on with that kid? The nearby disciples were all extremely curious. This was because Zhao Feng's breakthrough into the heavenly divine realm was far too abnormal. That god energy that merged with the world vanished long ago, but why hasn't that kid come out yet? Zhang Yutong's expression flickered with uncertainty. In the sky, the ancient gods of the spiritual race were also growing impatient. Why don't we go in and force that kid out? The black-robed ancient god suggested. He was extremely interested in Zhao Feng's high-level dimension. However, right after he finished saying those words, he sensed a spatial ripple appearing in the palace. Thump! The palace's gate suddenly swung open. How lively! Zhao Feng looked at the pile of letters of challenge in front of him, then at the countless spectators, and faintly smiled. Chapter 1256. He's? Many people almost didn't recognize Zhao Feng at first glance. That dreamy silver hair and eyes were far too dazzling and enchanting, causing Zhao Feng's entire demeanor to undergo a complete transformation. The hearts of many girls trembled at the sight of Zhao Feng, and they were almost captured by him. "What beautiful hair!" The infatuated voice of a girl rang out. "It's Brother Feng's eyes and hair." In the distance, Zhao Yufei's delighted face was suffused with a gentle light. She knew that every time Zhao Feng's god eye evolved, the color of his hair would change accordingly. This time, she sensed that Zhao Feng's god eye had undergone a massive transformation. At this moment, Zhao Feng stood there with a relaxed and contented expression, exuding boundless confidence and indifference that inexplicably calmed her restless heart. "Yufei, what's going on with him?" Kong Dai nudged Yufei's arm and asked in surprise. She previously believed that Zhao Feng wasn't a good match for Zhao Yufei, but now, she felt an urge to steal Zhao Yufei's partner. This kid broke into the true god level, but he still has the leisure to dye his hair. Many of the surrounding male youths looked at Zhao Feng with envy. In the sky, the otherworldly expert of the spiritual race Ancient God's eyes flashed as he attentively examined Zhao Feng. His hair is very special. Each strand of hair seems to have a life of its own, and it can reflect light based on its surroundings. Just what happened when he was breaking into the heavenly divine realm? The spiritual race Ancient God couldn't help but be curious. Hold on his aura. Ancient God floating spirit carefully sensed, and his face contorted in disbelief. Zhao Feng walked out of the palace and waved his hand. The letters of challenge floated in front of him, their contents completely visible. "I didn't think that so many disciples of my race would want to spar with me." Zhao Feng gave a pleased smile. However, in the eyes of the core disciples, this smile was filled with contempt and disdain. "Brat, even if you succeed in breaking through to the divine realm, you don't have the qualifications to be so arrogant." At this moment, a handsome silver-haired young man suddenly shouted. He also had silver hair, but his silver hair could not be compared to Zhao Feng's hair at all. "It's not up to you to decide whether I'm qualified or not," Zhao Feng said calmly as an invisible aura was emitted from him. At this moment, the heaven and earth changed colors as the wind and clouds surged. A part of the heaven and earth revolved around Zhao Feng. This energy, rank 5 true god. As soon as this aura appeared, some people at the scene immediately made a judgment. "Oh my god, Zhao Feng actually succeeded, he has obtained the 5th rank of the divine realm." The phenomenon had clearly disappeared, but he actually succeeded in attaining rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm. The sound of the commotion in the surroundings was continuous. Rank 5 true god. Zhang Yutong's expression was extremely gloomy. "This person has such ability?" The life-sacred land's Xiahou Wu stared in shock at Zhao Feng. Directly attaining rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm was something that only the strongest prodigies of a god realm sacred land could accomplish. Yet, at that moment, this nameless nobody had managed to accomplish that. "Brother Feng." Zhao Yufei wept tears of joy, the pearls of lightning in her eyes rolling down her jade-like cheeks. Now that Zhao Feng had directly attained rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm, the spiritual race would definitely not stop them. White clouds roiled in the sky. "Good kid. He really is a rank 5 true god." Ancient God floating spirit happily called out. "I didn't think that someone from my spiritual race would be able to directly attain rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm." Another spiritual race Ancient God sighed with emotion. Directly attaining rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm meant that one's talent would definitely reach rank 9 true god, perhaps even reach the godlord level. Weren't our previous methods a little excessive? An ancient god gave a helpless and bitter smile. The other ancient gods instantly fell silent. Rank 5 true god? How could this be? The silver-haired youth was dazed and dejected. The Zhao Feng he had just ridiculed had actually directly attained rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm, an existence comparable to the prodigies of a sacred land. "I just broke into the heavenly divine realm and just happened to need an opponent to temper myself and consolidate my strength. These letters of challenge came at the perfect time." Zhao Feng chuckled. "My name is True God Ji Gang, And I am also one of the disciples who issued a challenge to you. If you have the skill, accept my challenge. The silver-haired youth immediately said. He had just said that Zhao Feng was arrogant, but in the end, Zhao Feng displayed his true strength, shocking everyone and leaving him speechless and humiliated. If he could defeat Zhao Feng in a direct confrontation, he could redeem himself. But the prerequisite was that Zhao Feng dared to accept his challenge. Why wouldn't I dare? Zhao Feng flatly said. Okay. True Gaji Gang was somewhat delighted. In his view, Zhao Feng had become a rank 5 true god, but his confidence had swelled and he believed himself infallible. The two figures swiftly took off into the distance. Zhao Feng has become a rank 5 true god. This is his first battle after becoming a god. Let's go and watch. But that true Gaji Gang is an extremely powerful existence among rank 5 true gods. Many periphery and inner disciples swiftly left. Let's go as well. Zhang Yutong immediately said. At this moment, his eyes could no longer leave Zhao Feng. Now that Zhao Feng had reached rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm, he was certain to become the most dazzling disciple of the spiritual race. Even he could only submit to Zhao Feng's light. Thus, Zhang Yutong was extremely unwilling. Brother Zhang, be at ease. Although Zhao Feng has reached rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm, he will definitely lose this battle. A core disciple seriously said. Zhao Feng had only just broken into the heavenly divine realm, but he was already so arrogant as to challenge a rank 5 true god. The area around Zhao Feng's palace instantly became empty. Everyone was moved to the periphery disciple territory, to the only challenge stage. On the challenge stage, True Gaji Gang and Zhao Feng stared at each other from a distance. True Gaji Gang has the pure origin bloodline, which allows him to use the power of his bloodline on divine power to increase the strength of his divine power. In addition, he cultivates a special technique that condenses divine power. An ordinary rank 5 true god would instantly be at a disadvantage in a fight with him. A disciple who had a good understanding of true god Ji Gang smiled and said, although Zhao Feng is extremely talented and has reached rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm, he's no match for true god Ji Gang. An inner disciple came to a conclusion. You've only just become a rank 5 true god, so you're no match for me. True god Ji Gang said with a smile. His heart was filled with a sense of accomplishment to be able to defeat such a genius. You talk a lot of nonsense. Zhao Feng coldly glared at him and said disdainfully. I'll let you experience my divine power. True Gaji Gang was rather angry, but he could only coldly snort. Boom! An extremely powerful divine power suddenly burst out of his body. The crystalline white ribbons of divine power were so condensed that even the patterns on them could be clearly seen. At the same time, True Gaji Gang activated the power of his bloodline. The surrounding divine power instantly became warm and faint red, and its aura increased by a few notches. Heavens, True Gaji Gang's technique has advanced once more. When combined with his bloodline power, his divine power is infinitely close to rank 6. It seems like there's no hope for Zhao Feng. But in the future, Zhao Feng will definitely be able to quickly surpass True God Ji Gang. Quite a few disciples couldn't help but feel pity for Zhao Feng. If Zhao Feng had found a random rank 5 true god to fight, it wouldn't have been too embarrassing. Boom! True God Ji Gang waved his hand, and a seemingly tangible red ribbon of divine power shot toward Zhao Feng like a bolt of lightning. Divine power! Zhao Feng muttered. Before breaking into the heavenly divine realm, his divine power was already unparalleled. He just didn't know if his divine power could compare to True God Ji Gang's. Zhao Feng waved his hand, and a pure white blade of divine power shot forward. Boom! Bang! The two attacks of pure divine power collided. You just broke into rank 5 true god. Your divine power can't even take a single blow from me. True God Ji Gang saw that Zhao Feng was only using divine power and gave a disdainful smile. But just as he finished speaking, a ray of crystalline white divine power shot out from the smoke and dust of the explosion. That white blade-like divine power was flying towards him. How could this be? True Gaji Gang was speechless, and he circulated his divine power to block the remaining power. The spectators were also dumbfounded. This was a result that they had never expected. No, this is impossible. True Gaji Gang had a savage expression on his face as he charged at Zhao Feng, his body brimming with divine power. This time, True Gaji Gang did not underestimate Zhao Feng. He used a combat skill and even used intent energy. "You're too weak." Zhao Feng spat out a few words that almost drove True Gaji Gang insane. Boom! Bang! Zhao Feng's body exploded forward. At the same time, 5 colored lightning slowly surged out of his body. His entire body was like a roaring 5-colored lightning dragon. Boom! A bolt of 5-colored lightning passed through True Gaji Gang's body. The energy around True Gaji Gang was completely obliterated. His body, scorched black, fell to the ground. The ground and sky were silent. Was someone who had just broken into rank 5 capable of defeating True Gaji Gang in a single move? The core disciples shook their heads in disbelief. This is impossible. The life's sacred land's Xiahou Wu was stunned. So strong, so handsome. Some of the female disciples were instantly enchanted by Zhao Feng's performance. Too weak, Zhao Feng softly said. When these words fell into the ears of the crowd below, it instantly caused an explosion that shook the heavens. Too weak? Too weak. This was especially true for those people who had once targeted Zhao Feng but now didn't dare to offend Zhao Feng. All of them clenched their teeth, their bodies trembling. In the clouds, the ancient gods were also flabbergasted. How could he be this strong? Could he have completely consolidated his cultivation in that dimension? That must be the case. This Zhao Feng cultivates a special technique, and his divine power is extremely formidable. Coupled with the fact that his divine stages are extremely stable and sturdy. The ancient gods sighed in praise of Zhao Feng, finding him more and more pleasing to the eye. 2 of the ancient gods suddenly had a thought: take Zhao Feng as a disciple. Chapter 1257. Zhao Feng's performance was truly astonishing. Above the clouds, there were already 2 ancient gods that wanted to take him as a disciple. After all, Zhao Feng had directly attained rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm. This meant that his talent and potential would allow him to become a rank 9 true god without a problem. Moreover, if he was lucky, Zhao Feng might even be able to break through the limits of the true god realm and become a god lord. As Zhao Feng's master, he would also be able to obtain enormous benefits and glory. Boom! Yuan Qi roiled in the sky. The phantom of an elder more than 100 zhang tall was shrouded in a crystalline white radiance. Everyone below felt a formless pressure. Ancient god, elder. Countless disciples had looks of respect on their faces. The core disciples also respectfully bowed. They all knew that Zhao Feng reaching rank 5 would assuredly attract the attention of an ancient god expert of the race. Thus, the appearance of this ancient god expert did not attract their attention. What orders does elder have? Zhao Feng faintly smiled. In truth, his left eye had long ago noticed the spiritual race ancient god hiding in the sky. Are you willing to become this old man's personal disciple? The ancient god elder faintly smiled. The other ancient gods around him suddenly grimaced, all of them somewhat regretful that they had let this old scoundrel get ahead of them. An ancient god is accepting a disciple, personal disciple. The crowd below was stunned. For an ancient god to personally accept a disciple was already an extremely glorious matter. And this personal disciple meant that this ancient god would pass on all his legacy to Zhao Feng. Countless disciples shot envious gazes at Zhao Feng. Elder, my apologies, but I still wish to exchange pointers with the disciples of the race. Zhao Feng said with a smile, his expression extremely calm and unapologetic. Refuse. The surrounding disciples all shot astonished gazes at Zhao Feng. No one had expected that Zhao Feng would so straightforwardly refuse to become the personal disciple of an ancient god expert. In the ancient desolate realm of gods, other than the god lords who didn't care about worldly affairs, the ancient gods were the peak experts that ruled over an area. Becoming the personal disciple of an ancient god was the dream of countless quasi-gods and true gods. However, Zhao Feng decisively refused. You can spar first and think about it in the meantime. What was rare was that the ancient god in the clouds wasn't very unhappy. The phantom in the sky dissipated, and everything returned to normal. How cunning! Fortunately, that kid didn't agree. The other ancient god experts rejoiced. Since Zhao Feng did not agree to take the ancient god as his disciple, they still had some hope. On the challenge stage, Zhao Feng's expression was calm and composed. Earlier, the spiritual race ancient gods had forced him to compromise and leave Zhao Yufei. But now, an ancient god of the spiritual race wanted to take him as a personal disciple. Zhao Feng had directly refused, but this ancient god wasn't angry. Zhao Feng was not used to such a strong contrast. Of course, Zhao Feng had refused because he truly did want to continue sparring. His strength had increased by too much after reaching rank 7, making it so that he still couldn't control his strength as he wished. Thus, he suppressed his cultivation and used sparring with others of the same level to slowly comprehend his strength. Moreover, these core disciples had banded together to challenge him. How could Zhao Feng so easily let them go? More importantly, Zhao Feng was a rank 7 ancient god. That elder had no right to be his master. I'll go. Let me try you. At this moment, 4 figures appeared around the challenge stage. These were all people that wanted to challenge Zhao Feng. Bang! A red silhouette took the lead and stepped onto the stage. The stage shook slightly. Spiritual race core disciple, True God Nu Ji. The man with a majestic build and a layer of red wave patterns on his body announced his name. It's actually True God Nu Ji. This core disciple of the spiritual race has been in seclusion recently, but he reached the peak of rank 5 a long time ago. None of the core disciples were nameless. True God Nu Ji was also quite famous. Zhao Feng absent-mindedly nodded his head. There didn't seem to be any trace of True God Nu Ji in these letters of challenge. You dare to ignore me like this? True God Nu Ji, who had volunteered to fight, clenched his fists in rage. He had been in seclusion for many years and was no longer as famous as before. He had come out of seclusion this time precisely because he wanted to find a chance to restore his reputation. And it just so happened that Zhao Feng had directly attained rank 5 of the heavenly divine realm and become the most dazzling existence of the spiritual race. Raging sea waves. True God Nu Ji's entire body surged with scarlet waves that exuded an abnormally scorching aura. True God Nu Ji's energy also began to rapidly climb, breaking through the barriers of his cultivation and faintly approaching rank 6. The raging sea waves is a secret bloodline technique of True God Nu Ji's race. It can greatly increase one's abilities in all aspects, and at the same time, it can make one's attacks even more explosive and destructive. This True God Nu Ji is at the peak of rank 5, but after using this secret bloodline technique, he's faintly approaching rank 6. Many people who were watching the battle were shocked. This person's strength isn't bad. His attacks are explosive and destructive. I can use them to test out my physical body. Zhao Feng gave True God Nu Ji an interested glance. The perfected Golden Kuan's sacred lightning body could only contend against rank 4 true gods and was immune to the attacks of rank 3 true gods. Now that he had become an ancient god, he didn't know if the advantage of his physical body's defense would still be there. Kaboom! True God Nu Ji's eyes blazed with red light as waves surged around him. He was like a god of the sea in a scarlet sea as he charged at Zhao Feng. For a moment, the entire challenge stage was flooded with red waves. The scorching and powerful True God aura caused many of the rank 5 true gods below to be taken aback. Brother Zhao! Pan Hao's expression was both anxious and expectant. Zhao Feng had been able to easily deal with True God Zhigang, so he probably wouldn't lose so easily to True God Nu Ji. Although your divine power is powerful, your bloodline is ordinary, and you don't have any powerful secret techniques. True God Nu Ji coldly snorted as if he had already won this battle. Peak rank 5. Zhao Feng calmly said. Everyone was rather confused by these words. But a moment later, a five-colored mist of lightning erupted from Zhao Feng's body and soared into the sky. His aura also began to grow. The energy exuded by Zhao Feng's divine stages had also reached the peak of rank 5. Swish! Zhao Feng circulated all his physical strength, and he was like a five-colored mountain of lightning as he towered over the challenge stage, giving off the feeling that he could never be shaken. Peak rank 5. True God Nu Ji's expression suddenly changed in shock. Zhao Feng had actually reached the peak of rank 5 in his attempt to break into the heavenly divine realm. But at this moment, he could no longer retreat. Rumble! The crimson billow was like a giant beast that charged towards Zhao Feng. The next moment, True God Nu Ji almost burned his bloodline power. On the vast crimson billow, crimson flames soared. Real God Nu Ji's body melted into the crimson tsunami and turned into a crimson sea giant beast that charged towards Zhao Feng. Rumble! The entire challenge stage shook violently. After all, this was a challenge stage for disciples from other clans. But then, it was a battle between two peak rank 5 real gods. Below the stage, everyone held their breaths as they stared at the center of the challenge stage. Real God Nu Ji brought along a shocking aura and collided with Zhao Feng directly. A shocking scene happened. Clang! Real God Nu Ji seemed to have collided with a giant metal lightning mountain and he retreated 3 steps. How is this possible? There was a trickle of blood at the corner of Real God Nu Ji's mouth. His body trembled and his eyes were filled with fear. Just now, he had given his all to launch the fiercest attack at Zhao Feng. But Zhao Feng had only relied on his physique to defend and he had injured him instead. Your attack is too weak. Zhao Feng suddenly moved. He got close to Real God Nu Ji and kicked him. Poof! Real God Nu Ji was kicked out of the challenge stage by Zhao Feng and he fell in an extremely embarrassing manner. Real God Nu Ji was furious. He wanted to say something but he didn't say anything in the end. He is a peak rank 5. Zhao Feng reached peak rank 5 and defeated Real God Nu Ji. He's so arrogant. He said that Real God Nu Ji's attack is too weak. The spectating disciples were either incomparably excited or furious. No wonder he could defeat me so easily. He has already reached peak rank 5. Real God Ji Gang, who lost to Zhao Feng earlier, found an excuse for himself. He's already at peak rank 5. Zhang Yutong's heart throbbed. He was somewhat regretful for what he had done to Zhao Feng. In the sky, the ancient gods had even more interesting expressions. Peak rank 5. Although it was still rank 5, it proved that Zhao Feng's talent and potential were faintly superior to the strongest quasi-god prodigies of the sacred lands. The 3 members of the Life Sacred Land also had extremely solemn expressions. Weren't there a few people who were in a hurry to fight me? Zhao Feng asked with a smile. He leisurely stood on the stage with his hands clasped behind his back, a playful look in his eyes as he scanned the crowd. The 3 people who had been in a hurry to challenge Zhao Feng immediately lowered their heads and hid themselves in the crowd. Zhao Feng's defense was simply too terrifying. Not even True God Nu Ji could do anything about it, much less them. I'll give you a chance. Come at me together. How about it? At this moment, Zhao Feng jeered. Damn, this brat is so arrogant. He's telling us to come at him together. A peak rank 5 true god said with a scarlet face. The crowd below had also been given quite a fright by Zhao Feng's words. Those 3 people just now were all peak rank 5 true gods like Nu Ji. For Zhao Feng to tell them to come at him together was far too arrogant. Yufei, how did you find such an outstanding man? Kong Dai's beautiful body swayed, the envy in her eyes undisguised. Zhao Yufei's snow porcelain-like cheeks immediately flushed red. Come, let's go together. The 3 people who had been preparing to challenge Zhao Feng messaged each other. Zhao Feng's words were far too arrogant. If they didn't dare to go up, what face would they have left in the spiritual race? Moreover, it was only Zhao Feng's physical defense that was strong. As long as the 3 of them didn't fight him head-on, they could guarantee that they wouldn't lose. If they could hold down Zhao Feng and then slowly exhaust him, victory would be theirs. Bush, bush, bush. Immediately, 3 figures leapt into the air and landed on the stage. All 3 were peak rank 5 true gods. Zhao Feng, you were the one who told us to come at you together. We're just fulfilling your request. One of them, a skinny young man with many black spots on his skin, said coldly. Chapter 1258. Zhao Feng, we're just fulfilling your request. The skinny young man with many black spots on his skin said coldly. The three of them working together to deal with a true god of the same level would damage their reputations. Thus, before the battle began, he emphasized that it was Zhao Feng who wanted the three of them to fight together. No way, Zhao Feng really wants to challenge three people of the same level by himself? He just became a god. The majority of the people present believed that Zhao Feng was being too arrogant. Zhao Feng looked at the three people in front of him, a playful smile on his lips. Go. The youth with black spots on his skin growled. He had long since disliked Zhao Feng's arrogant and calm appearance. Boom, boom, boom. Three shocking divine force auras burst out. The three were in no rush to attack Zhao Feng. Instead, they maintained a certain distance from Zhao Feng and used long-range attacks. Boom, bang, crush. Zhao Feng stood at the center of the challenge stage like a mountain of five-colored lightning, unmoving. The attacks of three people of the same level were unable to harm him in the slightest. What a powerful body! The three stared in shock at Zhao Feng. Is this all you've got? Zhao Feng shrugged as if those attacks just now were just scratching an itch for him. This brat. The three fighting with Zhao Feng all gnashed their teeth in hatred. The three discussed with each other and decided to use some ultimate moves to suppress Zhao Feng's arrogance. Black Demon Move. Chaotic Star Hammer. Heavenly Origin God Slash. The three peak rank 5 experts used their ultimate moves. A terrifying storm of energy engulfed the entire challenge stage. Paltry tricks. At this moment, Zhao Feng sneered. Swish. The five-colored lightning energy on his body instantly exploded with dazzling light. With Zhao Feng as the center, a five-colored lightning domain swept out in all directions. The other forces in this domain were immediately suppressed by the five elements lightning tribulation. As the five-colored lightning domain expanded, all the power released by the three youths was completely destroyed. At the same time, the three youths in this domain were also under the pressure of the boundless power of the thunder tribulation, and their bodies were greatly suppressed. This was a new move that Zhao Feng had derived after breaking through to the ancient god realm by fusing two perfected cultivation techniques, the five elements thunder tribulation realm. Get lost. Zhao Feng suddenly shouted from the center of the five elements lightning tribulation domain. In the entire domain, five-colored lightning danced wildly. Bang, bang, bang. The three youths were bombarded by the tribulation lightning force and were sent flying out of the stage. How is this possible? After being thrown off the stage, the three youths still had looks of disbelief on their faces. Defeated. The spectators all stood rooted to the ground, their minds blank. Three peak rank 5 true gods couldn't do anything to Zhao Feng? Impossible. Xiahou Wu stared at Zhao Feng and exclaimed in shock. In the sky, the ancient gods were even more excited. They had decided that no matter what, they would keep Zhao Feng in the spiritual race. The sight of Zhao Feng's dazzling display made those core disciples who had challenged Zhao Feng feel some regret. But the challenge was in Zhao Feng's hands, so it was up to Zhao Feng to decide whether to fight or not. Zhao Feng, those peak rank 5 true gods aren't a match for you. How about I spar with you? At this moment, Zhang Yutong walked out of the crowd. Rather than having those good-for-nothings fight with Zhao Feng and boost Zhao Feng's prestige, it was better for him to just go out and put an end to this storm. It would be better for him to directly appear and stop this challenge. The people who had just been defeated immediately looked at Zhang Yutong in shock. Zhang Yutong is going to fight. He's a rank 6 true god of the spiritual race. The surrounding disciples were all stunned, and quite a few female disciples covered their mouths in shock. The surrounding disciples exclaimed in shock. Many of the female disciples even covered their mouths in shock. All right, I'll play with you then. Zhao Feng was still sizing Zhang Yutong up with a playful smile. As soon as these words left his mouth, another wave of exclamations resounded from below. When facing rank 6 true god Zhang Yutong, Zhao Feng actually said that he would play with him. His tone made it seem as if Zhao Feng, as an expert, had accepted the challenge of a weakling. "Alright, let's play then." A cold light flashed in Zhang Yutong's eyes, but he maintained his smile and stepped onto the stage. "Damn, brother Zhao, what are you planning to do?" Pan Hao didn't know what to say. Zhang Yutong had the spiritual race bloodline. His true fighting power was not that of an ordinary rank 6 true god. Up in the sky, the ancient gods' faces darkened. They also knew that the conflict between Zhao Feng and Zhang Yutong would not be easily resolved, and Zhao Feng was no match for a rank 6 true god of the spiritual race. When the time came, if Zhao Feng was in danger, they would immediately stop the challenge. At this moment, the ancient gods sensed something and turned to look into the distance. A tall and sturdy old man with an extraordinary temperament slowly walked over. "Fourth Elder." Ancient god Floating Spirit and the other spiritual race ancient gods immediately bowed. As for the fourth elder, he only nodded his head slightly and looked down without saying anything. Kaboom! Crystalline white mist madly danced around Zhang Yutong's body. With a wave of his hand, the white crystal mist transformed into various shapes and forms of weapons. Vish! Zhang Yutong charged at Zhao Feng, the various weapons around him acting as if they were part of his body. He could control them as he pleased and attack Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng activated his physical defense and clashed with Zhang Yutong. Ding ding, bang. Ice crystals and lightning crackled around Zhao Feng's body. Zhang Yutong's expression was cold and indifferent. The various weapons around him were getting stronger and fiercer. This person is fast, has powerful attacks, and is also skilled in defense. He's very difficult to deal with. Zhao Feng's expression darkened. His physical body was finding it somewhat difficult to endure Zhang Yutong's fierce attacks. His opponent was a rank 6 true god of the spiritual race. BZZ. Zhao Feng couldn't help but activate a sliver of his left eye's power. In a flash, Zhao Feng's left eye began to shine with a dreamy luster. With the activation of his left eye, Zhao Feng's reaction speed and judgment ability rapidly soared. To Zhao Feng's surprise, as he observed Zhang Yutong's attacks, the cultivation method for Zhang Yutong's skill began to appear in his mind. Zhao Feng was confident that once Zhang Yutong used the complete skill, he would be able to steal it for himself. Swish, swish. As Zhao Feng comprehended Zhang Yutong's skill, he began to use it. This is my skill. Zhang Yutong's expression froze. He sensed that Zhao Feng had suddenly become different, but then he grimaced in shock and bellowed. He would never believe that Zhao Feng had cultivated the same skill as him. As the battle continued, Zhao Feng's skill became more and more refined. Moreover, Zhao Feng's left eye was constantly perfecting the skill so that it was more suitable for him. Silence reigned between the heavens and the earth. No one had expected Zhao Feng to be able to fight against rank 6 true god Zhang Yutong. His eye bloodline. Xiahou Wu stared into Zhao Feng's eyes. He sensed an indistinct aura of his own kind. Ding bang bang. On the platform, lightning and crystal light intertwined densely. This can't continue. I have to defeat him as quickly as possible. Suddenly, Zhang Yutong's expression chilled, and his body began to glow with dazzling white light. Boom! His body instantly became as translucent as crystal, exuding a dazzling white light. The vast power of his bloodline stirred up the heaven-earth yuan qi in the area. You've used the spiritual race bloodline. It seems like you value me a lot. If I don't use my full strength, I really won't be a match for you. Zhao Feng paused in the face of Zhang Yutong, who had activated his bloodline and multiplied his fighting power. Zhang Yutong coldly snorted, not listening to Zhao Feng's words at all. In his view, the moment he activated his spiritual race bloodline and used his full strength, Zhao Feng had already lost. But at this moment, Zhao Feng's body suddenly exploded with an astonishing energy. Boom! Boom! 5-colored lightning began to radiate from his body. The divine stages in Zhao Feng's body began to exude the energy of rank 6. This is rank 6 true god. Zhang Yutong felt like his brain had short-circuited, and he instantly froze in place. As for the crowd around the stage, they were all dumbfounded, rooted to the spot. Boom. After increasing his cultivation to rank 6, Zhao Feng's abilities soared in every aspect. Get out of here! He transformed into a bolt of lightning that shot toward Zhang Yutong. Oh no! Zhang Yutong's expression suddenly grimaced. His body began to glow with a crystalline luster, and his skin began to ripple. Bang! Zhao Feng punched, but the divine power of lightning passed through Zhang Yutong's body and did little damage. However, Zhao Feng's physical strength was extremely formidable, and he sent Zhang Yutong flying with a single punch. Zhang Yutong had been defeated. Heavens, Zhao Feng actually has the cultivation of a rank 6 true god. He definitely directly attained rank 6 of the heavenly divine realm. A genius! A genius blessed by the heavens. After a few moments of silence, the crowd exploded with deafening cries of shock. Directly attaining rank 6 of the heavenly divine realm was something that could only be described in legends, but now, they were witnessing it with their own eyes. Lying on the ground, Zhang Yutong gave a miserable smile. This time, he had completely lost. The clouds in the sky churned as the ancient gods were stunned and excited. Tell me everything you know about this boy. The spiritual race 4th elder said to the elder next to him. These ancient gods had rather unsightly expressions, but they nodded and did not dare to hide anything. The spiritual race 4th elder's expression gradually darkened. The other ancient gods sat on pins and needles, their heads lowered as if admitting their mistakes. This boy will be the number 1 person of the spiritual race in the future. I will personally groom him. The spiritual race 4th elder coldly snorted. The other spiritual race elders immediately nodded their heads. On the challenge stage, letters of challenge floated in front of Zhao Feng. Quite a few core disciples in the audience suddenly grimaced. They were filled with extreme regret over why they had listened to Zhang Yutong's plan and challenged Zhao Feng. Now, they were no match for Zhao Feng, and they didn't dare to offend Zhao Feng. Forget it, they're all too weak. Zhao Feng scanned the letters of challenge. With a thought, a bolt of lightning blasted all the letters of challenge to smithereens. Quite a few people relaxed upon seeing the letters of challenge destroyed. But Zhao Feng's words were like a sharp sword stabbing into their hearts, and they could do nothing about it. The storm of challenges was finally over. And Zhao Feng's name was certain to spread throughout the Xiling Zone, even the entire ancient desolate realm of gods. Just when everyone believed that everything was over, a loud voice resounded, "Zhao Feng, I am very interested in your eye bloodline." The life sacred land's Xiahou Wu slowly stepped forward. Chapter 1259. In the sky, the expressions of the ancient gods slowly calmed down. The 4th elder of the spirit race stared at Xiahou Wu. Originally, this challenge was about to end, and he was prepared to personally take Zhao Feng as his disciple. But at this moment, the Life Sacred Land's Xiahou Wu suddenly stepped forward. The Life Sacred Land was the ruling faction of the Xiling Zone. And Xiahou Wu was a core disciple, a peak rank 6 with the Eye of Life. He was many times stronger than Zhang Yutong. Even if he had seen Zhao Feng create miracles time and time again. The spiritual race ancient god elder also had no confidence in Zhao Feng. However, Xiahou Wu was only interested in Zhao Feng's eye bloodline and wanted to spar with him. He didn't express any malice, so the spiritual race elder couldn't refuse. Life Sacred Land core disciple Xiahou Wu. Heavens, is Xiahou Wu going to fight with Zhao Feng? The disciples of the spiritual race were shocked. They all feared the Life Sacred Land. Xiahou Wu of the Life Sacred Land has already been roused to fight? In the crowd, Yuan Long had a complicated expression. From the moment he saw Zhao Feng, he looked down on Zhao Feng from the bottom of his heart. He thought that Zhao Feng was a low-level creature from the outer space, and that he didn't have an ancient bloodline. He was weaker than anyone around him. But suddenly, Zhao Feng shocked the world with a single feat, trampling all the spiritual race disciples under his feet. He then displayed the strength of a rank 6 true god and became the most talented disciple of the spiritual race. And now, Even the peak rank 6 true god of the life sacred land, Xiahou Wu, couldn't help but challenge Zhao Feng. The Eye of Life? Zhao Feng's gaze assessed Xiahou. Han Ning also had the Eye of Life, but her bloodline awakening was like the difference between heaven and earth compared to Xiahou Wu's. Unlike Han Ning, Xiahou Wu's Eye of Life was used in battle. Zhao Feng was also extremely curious as to how the Eye of Life had given Xiahou Wu fighting strength. That's good. Those people just now weren't enough for me to use the power of my eye bloodline. Zhao Feng's expression became serious. What? That kid's eye bloodline. Many disciples of the spiritual race were shocked. From the start until now, Zhao Feng still hadn't used his most powerful eye bloodline. This is impossible. Those core disciples who had been defeated by Zhao Feng shook their heads vigorously, not wanting to admit this. Zhang Yutong's expression was gloomy, and his heart was filled with anger and unwillingness. The ancient god of the spiritual race in the sky also revealed a profound look, as if he was looking forward to this battle. All right. Xiahou Wu's expression was incomparably excited. The fact that Zhao Feng was so confident in his eye bloodline proved that its abilities were extraordinary, which was exactly what he wanted. Boom! On Xiahou Wu's body, a power as heavy as a mountain suddenly surged. His body instantly grew taller, and a layer of black rock patterns slowly appeared on the surface of his skin. A physical pressure as heavy as Mount Tai suddenly descended on the challenge stage. Even Zhao Feng was caught off guard. His body trembled violently as he felt a terrifying pressure. However, this was not the end. Bzz. Xiahou Wu's dark green eyes flashed with a crystalline green light as a majestic life energy surged into his body. With the help of this powerful life energy, Xiahou Wu's physical strength grew even stronger. He was like a metal mountain that towered over the world. Suddenly, this metal mountain moved. Boom! Boom! Xiahou Wu instantly blinked to Zhao Feng's side like a pitch-black streak of light. What speed! Zhao Feng was startled. As expected, a genius of a sacred land couldn't be underestimated. Swish! Zhao Feng immediately circulated his sacred lightning body and unleashed his 5-elemental tribulation lightning domain. Under the effects of the 5-elemental tribulation lightning domain, Xiahou Wu was suppressed in all aspects. Bang! The two forces collided, creating a heaven-shaking explosion. What terrifying strength! The spectators could feel the terrifying energy on the challenge stage, and they were all stunned. It was hard to imagine just how much power Zhao Feng had to endure in a head-on clash with Xiahou Wu. Thump, thump, thump. Zhao Feng took 3 steps back, leaving behind 3 imprints on the challenge stage. A sharp pain could be felt from the bones in his body. Both of his hands had been broken by Xiahou Wu's fist. Zhao Feng immediately circulated his wood intent in conjunction with his indestructible physique to heal himself. I didn't think that someone outside of the sacred land would be able to take a punch from me. Xiahou Wu's eyes burned with fighting intent. As a core disciple of the life sacred land, he naturally cultivated the best body tempering techniques. With the addition of all kinds of precious herbs and the assistance of the Eye of Life, his accomplishments in the body tempering Tao were extraordinary. It's my turn now. A dreamy silver light flashed through Zhao Feng's left eye. Zhao Feng's expression immediately calmed down. His left eye only needed to focus on Xiahou Wu to analyze a great deal of information. However, his left eye was not used for analysis. Forbidden illusion lost world. Zhao Feng's left eye exploded with astonishing eye intent, and it gradually turned into a dreamy palace. Bzz. In the distance, a hint of confusion appeared in Xiahou Wu's dark green eyes. But the jade-like crystal belt on his waist immediately began to exude a deep green luster that seeped into Xiahou Wu's soul. In a flash of lightning, Zhao Feng approached Xiahou Wu, the forefinger of his right hand exuding a heaven-shaking ancient bloodline energy. Heaven-penetrating finger. Zhao Feng's finger struck Xiahou Wu's chest. What a powerful soul eye bloodline technique. Even though I have a defensive divine artifact, I'm still affected by his illusion technique. At this moment, Xiahou Wu's eyes regained their clarity. He immediately surged with divine power and focused his defenses where Zhao Feng had attacked. Plush! Zhao Feng's finger, fused with the power of the god blood, pierced through Xiahou Wu's tough body. He injured Xiahou Wu. Zhao Feng's attack actually broke through Xiahou Wu's defense. The countless spiritual race disciples below cried out in alarm. But after Zhao Feng's attack succeeded, he swiftly retreated and calmly examined Xiahou Wu. "You're not bad. You were actually able to injure me." Xiahou Wu heartily laughed, not caring about his injuries at all. The injuries on his body healed in an instant. Not even Zhao Feng's finger, which contained tribulation lightning energy and the power of the god blood, was of much use. But Xiahou Wu also turned serious as he looked at Zhao Feng. This was because Zhao Feng's eye bloodline technique just now had told him that his opponent was skilled in soul attacks. If Xiahou Wu had to point out a flaw, it would be his soul. His body has fused with the eye of life. His vitality is endless and as firm as a boulder. He's even stronger than I imagined. Zhao Feng saw everything with his left eye. "Eat another fist of mine." Xiahou Wu activated his eye of life and charged at Zhao Feng. Even before the fist arrived, Zhao Feng could already feel a terrifying force that was about to crush him to the ground. At this moment, life intent surged around Zhao Feng, and tenacious green vines wrapped around his body. Use the Eye of Life to activate a binding eye bloodline technique. Zhao Feng was stunned. As expected, he couldn't underestimate a genius of a sacred land. It seemed like Zhao Feng was unable to escape and was about to be crushed by Xiahou Wu. Tribulation Lightning Eye Flame. Zhao Feng's left eye instantly flashed with countless bolts of white lightning, and a surge of destructive soul intent appeared along with powerful soul ripples. After that eye bloodline technique just now, Zhao Feng felt that his eye bloodline techniques were almost at his fingertips, and their effects were much stronger. Kakrek. A twisted tribulation lightning symbol burned like a flame, carrying with it a terrifying soul energy as it slammed into Xiahou Wu's head. Xiahou Wu instantly stopped moving, letting out a pitiful scream. Even though he was prepared and had a soul-protecting treasure, he was still unable to endure Zhao Feng's tribulation lightning eye flame. After succeeding in this attack, Zhao Feng broke free and once more activated his left eye. Waves of peerless soul energy were constantly battering Xiahou Wu's soul. The minor eye bloodline techniques he used were practically instantaneous, and he didn't even need to think about them. Crack. The jade belt around Xiahou Wu's waist was unable to endure Zhao Feng's relentless soul attacks, and several cracks appeared on it. Is this his true strength? The disciples in the audience were dumbfounded. Xiahou Wu had a profound cultivation, the Eye of Life, and a soul-protecting divine artifact, but he was still in such a wretched state under Zhao Feng's soul eye bloodline technique. A normal person wouldn't be able to last a few seconds against Zhao Feng. Buzz. BZZ. Xiahou Wu's Eye of Life madly began to circulate. The powerful vitality allowed him to maintain his peak condition, and it also had a certain effect on resisting soul eye bloodline techniques. Moreover, Xiahou Wu had also developed a certain resistance against Zhao Feng's soul eye bloodline techniques. Swish. Xiahou Wu's figure suddenly disappeared from where he stood. A moment later, Xiahou Wu flashed in front of Zhao Feng, his Eye of Life madly circulating. The powerful vitality was like a flame that blazed within his body. Heaven-shattering. A dark green light began to gather in Xiahou Wu's palm, exuding a dreadful energy. What a powerful technique! Zhao Feng sensed danger. If he was struck by this technique, even if he didn't die, he would be heavily injured. It seemed like Xiahou Wu was planning on using this technique to decide the outcome. God Eye Disintegration. Zhao Feng's eyes focused on Xiahou Wu, and a dreamy silver luster surged forward. Swish. The life force around Xiahou Wu rapidly disappeared. Soon after, the boundless vitality in his body began to vanish. The supreme technique he had just gathered also began to lose its power. What kind of eye bloodline technique is this? Xiahou Wu was dumbstruck. He suddenly realized that the vitality in his body was rapidly disappearing. The vitality surging out of his Eye of Life couldn't keep up with the speed at which it was disappearing. This also meant that at this moment, his Eye of Life had lost all use. The supreme technique he had condensed would never be able to condense its strongest power. Heh! Zhao Feng faintly chuckled. The speed at which he was disintegrating was inconceivably fast. If Xiahou Wu didn't have the Eye of Life, Zhao Feng would have already completely disintegrated all the vitality in his body. Suddenly, Zhao Feng stopped the God Eye disintegration. God Eye duplication. Zhao Feng's left eye unleashed a dreamy mist that enveloped his body. Boom! Bzz! All the surging life energy had appeared in Zhao Feng's body. At this moment, Zhao Feng sensed that his physical strength had increased by at least 3 times. The circulating space intent and lightning intent, Zhao Feng instantly flashed to Xiahou Wu's side. He had condensed all the vitality he had just duplicated into 5 elements tribulation lightning divine power. Broom. Even before the punch was unleashed, lightning dragons began to savagely roar through the air. How could this be? The vitality in your body. Xiahou Wu found it impossible to understand what had just happened. Bang! Zhao Feng punched out, and an incomparably thick 5-colored lightning dragon slammed into Xiahou Wu's body. Crack! The array was shattered by Zhao Feng's punch, and Xiahou Wu's body was thrown several li away, smashing into a palace. Chapter 1260. Bang! The boundary of the challenge platform shattered with a loud bang. Xiahou Wu's body was sent flying several kilometers away. To be able to send Xiahou Wu flying with a single punch, Zhao Feng's punch was at least close to the power of an ancient god. This scoundrel is too terrifying. Many core disciples swallowed a mouthful of saliva and felt a lingering fear in their hearts. If that punch had landed on their bodies, they would have died without a doubt. Even Xiahou Wu was defeated. Zhang Yutong's expression dimmed. The other disciples found it hard to conceal their excitement as they cried out in alarm. After all, Zhao Feng could also be considered a member of the spiritual race, and he had defeated a genius of the life-sacred land. This was giving face to the spiritual race. Yufei, he's so awesome. He sent Xiahou Wu flying with a single punch. Kong Dai excitedly called out, causing Zhao Yufei to helplessly smile. On the challenge stage, Zhao Feng was also pleasantly surprised. After his left eye evolved, this was the first time he had used an eye bloodline technique in battle. He sensed that the abilities of his left eye had received an unprecedented boost. He could now use all the eye bloodline techniques he had used before, and they consumed much less energy. Even the God Eye disintegration and God Eye duplication could be used casually, and their effects were even more absurd. For example, the God Eye disintegration just now didn't need to be analyzed before it could be disintegrated. In the end, Xiahou Wu's supreme technique, Heaven Shattering, was broken so that he couldn't use its true power. As for the God Eye duplication, Zhao Feng was able to use it even more flexibly. In the past, he could only duplicate his opponent's techniques at most, but now, he could duplicate almost anything at any time. For example, just now, Zhao Feng directly duplicated the life energy Xiahou Wu released and used it for his own. As expected, you didn't disappoint me. Zhao Feng faintly smiled. The God Eye's evolution this time had undergone a heaven-toppling transformation. As for whether it had any other abilities, Zhao Feng had yet to unearth them. 2 disciples of the life-sacred land arrived at Xiahou Wu's side. Senior brother Xiahou. The 2 disciples were rather panicked and embarrassed. I'm fine. Xiahou Wu stood up and used his Eye of Life to instantly heal his wounds. His eye bloodline has almost reached the quasi-God Eye level. Xiahou Wu exclaimed in surprise. How could a normal eye bloodline render his Eye of Life useless? Furthermore, Zhao Feng had used his eye bloodline to defeat him. Impossible. Senior brother Xiahou, how is this possible? The other life-sacred land disciple immediately denied this. The ancient desolate realm of gods had the 8 great god eyes, and after the 8 great god eyes came the bloodline descendants. The bloodline descendants of the 8 great god eyes also had a limit to their growth, and this limit was the quasi-god eye. If a quasi-god eye took another step forward, it would be a god eye. But in order to become a god eye, one had to kill the owner of a god eye. Thus, the limit for descendants of the 8 great god eyes was the quasi-god eye. This kid isn't a descendant of one of the 8 great god eyes, so how could his eye reach the quasi-god eye level? The Life Sacred Land disciples still found it hard to believe. His eye hasn't just reached the quasi-god eye level. I even sense a sliver of god eye energy in his eye. Xiahou Wu whispered so that only the other 2 Life Sacred Land disciples could hear him. Impossible. The 2 of them cried out in shock. Let's go. Xiahou Wu let out a low growl and led the other 2 away. In the sky, the ancient gods all had extremely interesting expressions. Quasi-god eye level? The spiritual race 4th elder had a pensive look in his eyes. He had heard of this classification before, but only descendants of the 8 great god eyes could reach this level. He wasn't a god eye descendant and didn't understand this, so he couldn't think of a reason. Perhaps part of the reason he reached rank 6 of the heavenly divine realm is this quasi-god eye level eye. The 4th elder speculated. No matter what, the fact that Zhao Feng had directly reached rank 6 of the heavenly divine realm meant that he had an extremely high chance of becoming a god lord in the future. Such a genius had to be kept in the spiritual race and fully nurtured. Just when the 4th elder was about to appear, he suddenly sensed an oppressive energy. The other spiritual race ancient gods also sensed something and looked into the distance. An elder with long white hair that trailed the ground was slowly walking over. Everywhere he passed, there was only silence, and only countless white specks of light flickered incessantly. Even heaven and earth gave off a surreal feeling. What's going on? The spiritual race disciples down below suddenly sensed a dreadful ripple of energy in the distance. As this energy approached, they felt like all their energy had been sealed away, making it impossible for them to circulate any of it. At this moment, it was like they had become ordinary people. Zhao Feng's left eye immediately scanned the distance and focused on the elder. When he saw this elder, all the divine power in his body fiercely trembled, and his soul felt suppressed as if it was about to submit. How terrifying! Who is this person? Zhao Feng was inwardly stunned. Swoosh swoosh, before the elder with long white hair could even descend, several spiritual race ancient gods leaped out of the clouds. 3rd elder. I didn't think that the 3rd elder would come out of seclusion. All the ancient gods of the spiritual race, including the 4th elder, looked at the 3rd elder with respect. Although the 3rd elder's status was only 1 minor level higher than the 4th elder's, he was a half-step god lord and had a chance of becoming a god lord. Respectful greetings, 3rd elder. Upon hearing the words of the upper echelon members of the spiritual race, the disciples down below immediately understood who this elder was. They had never imagined that there would be a day when they would see such a terrifying individual. Quite a few of the core disciples of the spiritual race had heard of the spiritual race's 3rd elder, so they were even more respectful when they learned of his identity. I didn't think that even the spiritual race's 3rd elder would come. The core disciples of the spiritual race were deeply worried. They all knew that the 3rd elder had appeared this time for Zhao Feng, which was why they were so worried. I know everything that is happening here. The 3rd elder slowly said, his extremely calm voice echoing throughout the spiritual race and seeping into the hearts of everyone. Everyone in the spirit race who heard these words worshipped him from the bottom of their hearts. The 4th elder said nothing. Since the 3rd elder had appeared, they had to obey his orders. On the perimeter of the spiritual race, ancient god Night Dragon was forced out of hiding and vomited blood. Half-step god lord. Ancient god Night Dragon suppressed his surging blood energy and used instant movement to leave. All of the spiritual race was silent, and everything seemed to freeze. Only the area around the 3rd elder was constantly flickering with white light. You're Zhao Feng. The spiritual race's 3rd elder suddenly turned to Zhao Feng. Yes. Zhao Feng stared straight at the spiritual race's 3rd elder. At this moment he felt like the sky was about to collapse, and a peerless pressure assailed him. The 3rd elder's eyes were like his left eye, able to see through everything, see all the secrets in Zhao Feng's body. Thump thump, thump thump. A warm pulse came from Zhao Feng's left eye. A dreamy mist emerged from the god eye dimension and seeped into Zhao Feng's soul. At this moment, Zhao Feng sensed that more than half of the pressure on him had vanished. That feeling of being seen through had also vanished. In the sky, the spiritual race's third elder slightly raised an eyebrow. "Are you willing to be my disciple?" The third elder faintly smiled. The fourth elder slightly creased his brow in displeasure, but he did not dare to speak. "Another disciple?" The spiritual race's third elder, a half-step ancient god, is personally taking him as a disciple? All the disciples of the spiritual race felt their hearts begin to boil. Previously, Zhao Feng had refused the offer of an ordinary ancient god elder of the spiritual race. Now, the spiritual race's third elder, a half-step god lord, had personally come forward to take him as a disciple. Many core disciples suddenly began to fear Zhao Feng. If Zhao Feng became the disciple of a half-step god lord, wouldn't he become the little ancestor of the spiritual race? He would be beneath one and above all? Even the disciples of the spiritual race bloodline would not dare to disrespect him. These words caused a ripple in Zhao Feng's heart to stir. But he quickly calmed himself down. "Before, I was just an ordinary periphery disciple. I was the object of humiliation for periphery, inner, and core disciples. Even the elders of the spiritual race wanted to force me away." Zhao Feng slowly said. These words left all the members of the spiritual race flabbergasted, their eyes and mouths agape. "What's going on with that kid?" Quite a few core disciples blurted out in shock. "What does this kid want?" The black-robed ancient god was alarmed, and he began to panic. The spiritual race's third elder's eyes flashed as he attentively examined Zhao Feng. "Now, the third elder wants to take me as a disciple. The contrast between this and before is too great. I don't think it's real. Please allow me a few days to calm down and think about it." Zhao Feng calmly said. In the past, the spiritual race had treated him so well that almost everyone stood against him, wanting to drive him out of the spiritual race and harm him. Now that he had displayed unprecedented talent, they wanted to recruit him and have him work for the spiritual race. They were getting off far too easily. In addition, he had directly broken through to the ancient god realm. The god lord realm above rank 9 was probably nothing difficult for Zhao Feng. If he were to tell everyone about this, countless god realm sacred lands would do anything to take him in. And now, the spiritual race had only sent a half-step god lord. In truth, Zhao Feng felt that this person was not worthy of being his master. The moment Zhao Feng said this, all the disciples of the spiritual race, including the ancient god elders, were petrified. Although Zhao Feng had said that he would think about it for a few days, everyone knew that Zhao Feng was refusing. He was refusing to become the disciple of a half-step god lord. At this moment, countless people wanted to jump up and curse Zhao Feng to death. He had actually refused the good intentions of a half-step god lord? Just what was he thinking? "Do you want to think about it for a few days?" The third elder's eyes focused as he suddenly asked. In the sky, countless rays of white light madly surged. A majestic energy that could seal the world surged forward like a tsunami. All the spiritual race disciples down below instantly felt an irresistible pressure. Their bones felt like they were about to be crushed, and their soul consciousnesses were battered by this dreadful energy. They were on the verge of collapse. Chapter 1261. All the spiritual race disciples instantly felt an irresistible strength. Their bones felt like they were about to be crushed, and their soul consciousnesses were being battered by a dreadful force. They were on the verge of collapse. The pressure on Zhao Feng was no less than the others. If not for his powerful body, solid soul, and the protection of his god eye, he would have already been forced to submit to this half-step god lord. "That's right. I need a few days to think." Zhao Feng squeezed these words out of his clenched teeth. These words chilled the hearts of everyone present. All the disciples inwardly cursed Zhao Feng countless times. In the sky, the ancient god realm elders were sweating profusely. Zhao Feng had publicly refused a half-step god lord, and even under the pressure of a half-step god lord, he had still refused. Not even the ancient god elders would dare to do such a thing. At this moment, the oppressive energy in the world was swept away. "I will give you 3 days. After that, I will enter seclusion. The third elder's figure had already disappeared after leaving behind these words. He knew that Zhao Feng had already refused him, but he would not do anything to Zhao Feng because of this. One had to realize that Zhao Feng had directly attained rank 6 of the heavenly divine realm. As long as the spiritual race was willing to nurture him, he would have no problem becoming a god lord in the future. God lords were already top-class experts of the ancient desolate realm of gods. Zhao Feng even had a sliver of a chance to touch the very peak of the ancient desolate realm of gods, God King. But as the spiritual race's third elder and a half-step god lord, it was truly a loss of face for him to be refused by Zhao Feng. Thus, he said that he was very busy and would only give Zhao Feng 3 days. If he did not seize this chance, he would lose it. These words raised the third elder's status once more, and they cleverly resolved the embarrassment of being refused by Zhao Feng. The moment the third elder left, all the members of the spiritual race breathed a sigh of relief, some of them even collapsing to the ground. Everyone looked at Zhao Feng with extremely complicated gazes. First of all, Zhao Feng was originally the target of everyone's rejection. However, Zhao Feng had suddenly attained the 6th rank of the heavenly throne and became the most dazzling genius of the spirit race. This made them a little jealous. But when Zhao Feng defeated the rank 6 true god of the life-sacred land, they were overjoyed and even faintly worshipped him. But in the end, Zhao Feng offended the third elder of the spirit tribe. With so many things happening, the disciples of the spirit tribe had no idea how they should treat Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng also heaved a long sigh of relief. Although he was sure that the third elder wouldn't do anything to him. However, he was unable to withstand the pressure that shook the heavens and earth. He was afraid that the third elder would be able to see through him if time dragged on. Brother Feng. At this time, a light purple figure floated to Zhao Feng's side. This person was none other than the number 1 beauty of the spiritual race, Zhao Yufei. Zhao Yufei didn't say anything. She only wore an enchanting smile and looked at Zhao Feng with eyes as soft as water. It was as if she would not question Zhao Feng no matter what he did. Zhao Yufei's attitude warmed Zhao Feng's heart. After all, this was the spiritual race, a place where Zhao Yufei had lived for several decades. His refusal of the spiritual race's third elder could be said to be a rejection of the spiritual race. All sorts of feelings welled up in the hearts of the surrounding people as they watched their goddess get so close to another man. In the distance, quasi-god Luo Yu and Wei Qingying looked at Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei with an indescribable feeling in their hearts. Back then, they had all used Zhao Feng as a tool to mock Zhao Yufei. But now, Zhao Feng had become the most dazzling genius of the spiritual race. Even if they wanted to befriend him, they couldn't. Ancient god floating spirit floated down. Zhao Feng, we finally meet. Ancient god floating spirit said with a smile. In the last few years, Zhao Yufei has been in the spiritual race thanks to seniors' care. Zhao Feng respectfully bowed. Ancient god floating spirit was none other than the member of the spiritual race who had come to the continent zone and taken away Zhao Yufei. Zhao Feng could not possibly forget him. Zhao Feng, you're now a core disciple of the spiritual race. Why don't you move in next to Zhao Yufei? Ancient god floating spirit was all smiles. Master. Zhao Yufei's pretty face immediately blushed like a ripe apple. The spiritual race would do its utmost to keep Zhao Feng, but it would not stop them. That's fine. Zhao Feng calmly nodded. Zhao Feng followed ancient god floating spirit and Zhao Yufei to the core disciple territory. The outer disciple area gradually dispersed. Everything that had happened today would forever be engraved in their minds. At this moment, a golden-robed youth arrived, exuding a mighty pressure. Jin Wei, what's going on? This golden-robed man had a somewhat similar appearance to Jin Wei, but his face had an additional sharpness to it. Big brother, you only just got here and missed a good show. Then, Jin Wei told his elder brother, Jin Kuan, everything that had happened. His big brother had the spiritual race bloodline and was a top-class genius of the previous generation. He was now an ancient god expert. Rank 6 true god. Jin Kuan's face froze in disbelief. It's true. Even the third elder wanted to take him as a disciple. Jin Wei also knew that his big brother was proud and wouldn't believe it if he heard that an outsider had become a rank 6 true god. That brat dared to refuse the third elder. Jin Kuan coldly snorted in displeasure. He truly did miss a great opportunity. If he became a disciple of the third elder, no one in the spiritual race would dare to provoke him, but he refused the third elder. Jin Wei said in confusion, "If there's a chance, I want to meet this person." A sharp light flashed through Jin Kuan's eyes. Back then, Jin Kuan's ancestor had recommended him to the third elder in hopes that the third elder would take him as a disciple, but the third elder had only glanced at him before rejecting him. Now, however, the third elder had personally taken Zhao Feng as a disciple. Although Zhao Feng had ultimately refused, Jin Kuan still found it hard to accept. Upon arriving at his new residence, Zhao Feng immediately entered seclusion. He had just broken into the ancient god level, so his cultivation was not stable enough. He needed to spend a great deal of time stabilizing it. Moreover, he had experienced many battles and gained some understanding. On the surface, I'm a rank 6 true god, but in reality, I'm already an ancient god. This is also one of my trump cards to protect my life. Zhao Feng had a calm expression. Even though he was in a 5-star faction and was under the protection of the spiritual race, the talent and potential he displayed was far too astonishing. However, the talent and potential he displayed was too shocking. It was inevitable that he would encounter unpredictable dangers. At the same time, Zhao Feng continued to nurture the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon. "Master, I will soon be able to recover my peak strength," the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon deferentially said. It had been cultivating in the space-time robe this entire time, so it knew nothing of what was happening in the outside world. However, the moment Zhao Feng appeared, the aura of an ancient god had almost scared the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon to death. It soon learned that Zhao Feng had directly become an ancient god, so it treated Zhao Feng with utmost respect. Zhao Feng nodded and went to his usual cultivation area. While the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon was recovering its strength, it was also cultivating. Thus, once it returned to its peak, it would definitely be even stronger than before. In addition, the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon seemed to have obtained some sort of precious resource from Zhao Wan, but its Destruction Dragon race bloodline had become slightly thicker than before. Of course, this was something that Zhao Feng wanted to see. If the Black Destruction Serpent Dragon couldn't keep up with him, it wouldn't be of much use. In addition, Zhao Feng looked at the gray egg next to him. "I was tricked by that thieving cat." Zhao Feng was rather speechless. Back then, the little thieving cat had said that it wanted to break into the heavenly divine realm. But did breaking into the heavenly divine realm require turning into an egg? Did breaking into the heavenly divine realm require so much time? At this time, Zhao Feng didn't care about any of this. He just wanted to see what the little thieving cat would look like once it broke out of the egg. Closing his eyes, Zhao Feng entered a state of cultivation. The spiritual race had given birth to a peerless genius who had directly become a rank 6 true god. This news instantly swept through the Xiling zone and sent shockwaves through it. Directly breaking into rank 6 true god was already a legend that could not be verified. No one had expected it to actually happen. Of course, the vast majority of people were still doubtful. After all, who would believe such an absurd thing without seeing it for themselves? A few days later, the peak 4-star factions closest to the spiritual race sent people to pay a visit. Coincidentally, Zhao Feng was in seclusion. Thus, none of these visitors were able to see Zhao Feng in person. Some people believed that this genius who had directly reached rank 6 of the heavenly divine realm was fabricated by the spiritual race. The goal was naturally to intimidate the Blazing Gold race. Xiling Zone, Blazing Gold race, deep underground, in a secret hall suffused with searing flames, the upper echelon of the Blazing Gold race had gathered. But the atmosphere was extremely oppressive. No one dared to breathe too loudly, all of them staring straight ahead. Floating there was a commanding elder with a body as hard as metal, his entire body seething with golden flames. His cultivation was that of a half-step god lord. Tell me about the situation. A half-step god lord of the blazing gold race suddenly said. According to the intelligence of the spiritual race's scouts, there really is someone called Zhao Feng who directly attained rank 6 of the heavenly divine realm. A middle-aged man down below softly said. These words caused the crowd to seethe. Even the half-step god lord elder's expression darkened. This boy cannot be allowed to live. He must be eliminated, or else the blazing gold race will never have a day of peace. A few of the upper echelon members ruthlessly said. Directly attained rank 6 of the heavenly divine realm? An outsider? The half-step god lord elder softly asked. That's right. I heard that this person entered the spiritual race as a worker disciple in order to pursue Zhao Yufei. The middle-aged man told him everything he knew. Keep a close eye on this Zhao Feng and try to entice and rope him in. If he refuses, kill him immediately. The half-step god lord indifferently said. In the space-time robe dimension, Zhao Feng opened his eyes. It's time to find a new technique, or else my cultivation speed will be too slow. Zhao Feng sighed. The 5 elemental wind lightning technique and the golden Kun's sacred lightning body that he cultivated before had reached perfection long ago and could no longer be cultivated. Master, there is no need to worry. The spiritual race is a 5-star faction, and you are the most dazzling genius of the spiritual race. They will offer you any technique you want. The Black Destruction Serpent Dragon respectfully said. Zhao Feng nodded and prepared to leave this place and go to the spiritual race to find a suitable technique. But at this moment he received an urgent message from his soul. Something has happened to Zhao Wan. Alarmed, Zhao Feng immediately sent his mind to the dreamy silver ball in his God-eye dimension. Chapter 1262. In the center of a scorched basin in the ancient dream realm. Swish! Zhao Feng's figure suddenly appeared. Instant movement. Upon arriving in the ancient dream realm, Zhao Feng immediately used instant movement to leap into the void. 500,000 li away, Zhao Feng's figure emerged from the void. The distance of instant movement has increased to 500,000 li. Zhao Feng inwardly rejoiced. Breaking into the heavenly divine realm was a process of interacting with the world and constantly comprehending new things. Zhao Feng's space intent had now smoothly reached level 5, and his 5 elements intent and wind lightning intent had both reached level 4. His lightning intent and metal intent were both close to level 5. Zhao Feng also felt like he could fuse with the world at any time and use the energy of the ancient dream realm to increase his own strength. If he could familiarize himself with the ancient dream realm, he could even increase the distance he could travel. Swish! Zhao Feng put on the space-time robe. A high-level space intent immediately appeared on his body, causing Zhao Feng's space intent to approach level 6. As he traveled, he continued to comprehend space intent and the ancient dream realm. Gradually, Zhao Feng extended a part of his mind into the ancient dream realm. At this moment, Zhao Feng seemed to become the sky, able to look down on his journey. BZZ. The part of his mind that had fused with the ancient dream realm could control the energy of the world, including space. Zhao Feng instantly sensed that the obstruction to his movement was greatly reduced, and the distance and stability increased. Using this method, Zhao Feng rapidly traveled through the ancient dream realm. In less than 5 days, he was on the verge of reaching Zhao Wan's location. Based on the information Zhao Wan sent, the ancient beasts he controls seem to have angered a powerful faction in the ancient dream realm. Zhao Feng's expression was rather gloomy. Zhao Wan's current strength was only at the rank 4 quasi-god level, so it was impossible for him to control many powerful helpers. In the ancient dream realm, he had always relied on his vast numbers of ancient races to obtain victory. But when the opponent's strength reached a certain level, numbers were useless. Retreat! Zhao Wan gave an order to the ancient beasts he controlled. Behind him, a vast horde of ancient species charged through the world. Every ancient race here had reached the true god realm, and there were countless of them. However, at this moment, their eyes were filled with terror. The blood flame Qilin race isn't pursuing us with full force. It seems like they're toying with us? Beside Zhao Wan, a phoenix-tailed bird flashing with blue and purple flames spoke in a crisp voice. This phoenix-tailed bird was none other than Little Ling. When Zhao Wan's territory was close to the phoenix-tailed sparrow race's territory, Zhao Wan roped in Little Ling. Her cultivation had already reached rank 6 true god, making her one of the strongest experts of the ancient races. But with her rank 6 true god cultivation, all she could do was run. Rumble. Behind them, a fiery red cloud, carrying a terrifying pressure that could intimidate the heavens and the earth, continued to push forward. Amidst the red clouds, one could faintly make out several gigantic cheilants that were burning with raging flames. Iron fire, this is too boring. Why don't we just kill them all? The person the patriarch is looking for is definitely not among them. A red cheilin with a broken horn gave a savage smile and spat out a scorching flame. Don't do unnecessary things. Just complete the patriarch's mission. A slightly larger red cheilin indifferently said. This red flame cheilin was none other than the ancient god expert that Zhao Feng had seen when he was fighting over treasure with the 3 sacred lands. Damn, we didn't even invade their territory. They're the ones attacking us for no reason. A giant crocodile-like ancient beast next to Zhao Wan unhappily said. Besides this place, Zhao Wan's people in other places were also being suppressed by the blood flame cheilin race. Why isn't Zhao Wan here yet? Little Ling asked. The him that Little Ling spoke of was naturally Zhao Feng, the true master of all the ancient beasts here. However, the danger this time was no small matter. Even if Zhao Feng came, there was no hope. He's here. Zhao Wan calmly said. When Zhao Feng was about to arrive, Zhao Wan was no longer worried. After all, no matter what danger they encountered, Zhao Feng could take him away. It was just a pity that these ancient beast factions that he had worked so hard to take control of would be lost. Several million li away, Zhao Feng floated in the air. He had already gained initial control over the ancient dream realm and could clearly sense what was going on several million li away. It's him. Zhao Feng was rather surprised. Zhao Feng had a deep impression of the red flame cheilin leading the dark clouds. When the ancient dream realm opened as a secret dimension, this red flame cheilin had suddenly appeared and caused the best true gods of the 3 sacred lands to band together to fight back. Back then, Zhao Feng didn't even dare to approach the battlefield of the red flame cheilin. It seems like Zhao Wan has offended at least a top 4.5-star faction. Zhao Feng's expression was somewhat ugly. If it was an ordinary 4.5-star faction, Zhao Feng might have been able to rely on his advantage in the ancient dream realm to resolve the danger and take control of it. But a powerful 4.5-star faction wouldn't just have 2 or 3 ancient gods. It might even have rank 8 or rank 9 ancient gods. Now, he could only take it one step at a time. Unless he had no other choice, Zhao Feng didn't want to abandon these ancient beasts. Zhao Feng. Little Ling, who was fleeing at the very front, was the first to see Zhao Feng. She was instantly attracted by Zhao Feng's beautiful hair and eyes. The phoenix-tailed bird race was one of the 4 most beautiful races of the 10,000 ancient races and had an intense fondness for beautiful things. Master! Less than half of the ancient beasts in the group respectfully called out. They had all had a dark heart seal planted in them by Zhao Feng. Everyone, if you have something to say, just say it. Zhao Feng released the supreme energy of an ancient god as he roared. This roar was fused with the energy of the ancient dream realm, making it extremely powerful. Boom! The world shuddered. The power of Zhao Feng's words even startled the 2 ancient god experts in the red cloud. Ancient god? Little Ling called out in surprise. When she and Zhao Feng worked together, Zhao Feng was only a quasi-god while she was a rank 5 true god. But the next time they met, she had broken into rank 6 while Zhao Feng had broken into the ancient god realm. Iron fire, this brat's strength isn't simple. The cheilin with the broken horn coldly said. Iron fire nodded. The ancient god energy on Zhao Feng's body wasn't very strong, but the worldly might exuding from it was frightening. Iron fire's gaze fell on the space-time robe on Zhao Feng's body. The space-time robe. He was one of those people. Iron fire's expression froze in shock. The majority of those humans were quasi-gods and true gods, with the strongest being rank 5 true gods. But now, the one wearing the space-time robe was an ancient god. Could the person who obtained the space-time robe have grown to this level in just a few decades? Iron Fire's expression gradually calmed down. Following the Patriarch's orders, he used a secret art to send the message. A few moments later, an ancient voice resounded in his soul, "You go and fight with him." Iron Fire was taken aback, but he didn't ask any questions. Kaboom! Iron Fire stepped forward, his blazing eyes staring at Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng was rather surprised. His furious roar just now had been fused with the energy of the ancient dream realm, and its power was enough to intimidate ordinary rank 7 ancient gods. In addition, the blood flame Qilin race clearly had the ability to kill Zhao Wang's group, but they hadn't, only occasionally killing a few ancient beasts. Thus, Zhao Feng speculated that they had some other goal, so they hadn't directly killed them. But at this moment, this red flame Qilin appeared to want to fight him to the death. Iron Fire? The Qilin with the broken horn was also flabbergasted, not understanding what was going on. Perfect! I've never fought an ancient god before, so I'll use you to practice. Battle intent also surged from Zhao Feng's body. In the spiritual race, Zhao Feng had been hiding his true cultivation. The strongest opponent he had fought against was the peak rank 6 Xiahou Wu. This would be his first full-power battle since breaking into the ancient god level. Boom! The red flame Qilin's body suddenly swelled to several dozen times its original size, transforming into an enormous mountain of fire that pressed down on Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng didn't dare to be careless. He activated his sacred lightning body, his body crackling with 5-colored lightning as he charged forward. Scatter! The ancient beasts around Zhao Wan began to flee in all directions, trying to get as far away from the battlefield as possible. Boom! Bang! A moment later, Zhao Feng collided with the enormous red flame Qilin. Lightning and flames intertwined wildly in the sky. The two figures separated. What power! Zhao Feng's blood began to boil. In that clash just now, even Zhao Feng's body felt a searing pain. Again! Zhao Feng roared as he circulated his divine power and intent energy and fired off an enormous palm of energy. This fearless battle made Zhao Feng's entire body feel refreshed. 7 intents? Iron Fire's eyes widened in shock. Ordinary ancient god experts were skilled in many intents, but they would only be proficient in 1 or 2. However, Zhao Feng's palm contained as many as 7 intents, and each intent was at least level 4. Broom! Iron Fire didn't dare to be careless. He activated his ancient bloodline, his entire body erupting in flames. After completely activating the blood flame Qilin race bloodline, Iron Fire's fighting power had multiplied. He relied on his powerful body and flames to shatter Zhao Feng's attack. So strong. He's already grown to this level. Little Ling's eyes flashed with a strange light as she watched Zhao Feng fight with the red flame Qilin. The other ancient beasts were also stunned as they watched their master fight with the blood flame Qilin race ancient god. Boom! Bang! Crash! Zhao Feng and Iron Fire had already exchanged several dozen blows in the sky. Just what's going on with this kid? Iron Fire was stunned. At the start, he and Zhao Feng were evenly matched. But after 10 moves, Zhao Feng began to gain the upper hand. After 20 moves, Iron Fire was finding it hard to hold on. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.